All right, we're live. Happy Monday, everybody. Thanks for coming and spending another Monday night with us. Meredith actually is not here right now. Hopefully she'll be here fairly soon, but we are missing a cat, and we've been missing the cat now for just over 3 days. We searched everywhere last night for about an hour. Actually more, it was almost more like an hour and a half. And you have to kind of do it once it starts getting dark. So basically, we spent an hour in the dark prowling behind our neighbors' houses. So, but we did talk to them in the day, before that, so they knew we were going to do it. And we got a call from a neighbor saying that they thought they saw a cat that looked like Stormy, our cat, just down the other side of the road. And so Meredith is there looking right now. I don't know how long it's going to take, but in the meantime, we have Eric Grove here helping me out. So I'm still in good hands. So hi, Eric.
Howdy. Glad to help.
Are you in the? Can everybody hear you?
I hope so. Can you hear me, Dave?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I just want to make sure you're coming through here.
Okay.
We have Alpin here. Dan Genovese is here. Artsy Design. Simon Kucher. Allison McGlone is here. McGlone. Sorry, Allison. Waiter Shush is here. And oh yeah, Simon says. You can hear you. Everybody's saying that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Yeah, so we're doing She Spawn tonight, which I had to do. The minute I saw it, I was looking for reference for Gunslinger Spawn, and yeah, this is just too awesome to pass up. So I'm drawing it. And next week will be week 1 of. Actually, you know what? We're not going to be able to do next week. So we're going to be missing 1 week. So no Monday Night Draw on Monday coming up. But after that, we'll come back and we're going to be doing Man-Thing versus Swamp Thing for Henry. Sorry, Eric?
I said nice. So Caden Creates is in Texas. Yeah, I was telling David right before the stream, we're under tornado watch here, or we were. And it got pretty crazy here right before we started. So fortunately the sirens got turned off and the warning got canceled or turned off as well. But there was a tornado in central Texas. So hopefully Caden's safe and everyone else who's in Texas.
Yeah, I just had Meredith come down about 20 minutes ago now and say, I need to go look for the cat. And so I called Eric and Eric said, yeah, we're fine, except that, there's a tornado coming. I might have to run. I said, okay. Well, we'll play it by ear, but it seems like it's passed over, eh?
Yeah.
Crazy. If we're going to have to miss a week, it should have been next week, I guess. But
yeah.
We have Isaac, our youngest, in, what do you call it? I can't remember. I'm the worst. You guys know that. I can't remember names, but it's a thing where you raise horses or you raise sheep and pigs and ducks and that kind of thing. He's raising a couple of chickens, and so yeah, that's kind of where we're going to be on Monday. So we can't do it Monday, and unfortunately, that's not something we could just make people reschedule. So Henry Jarmick says, Eric, are you in Tornado Alley?
I don't know if you can call it tornado. I don't know. I don't think so. It's generally okay here. We normally get like bad hail and bad thunderstorms, but every now and then a tornado will touch down. But it's normally like around in neighboring areas from us. This one there was rotation. Let me put it that way. There was rotation, and we were in the path of the rotation, but it broke right before it hit us. So
yeah, it's lucky.
Yeah, a little bit north from here is where the real bad ones hit.
Yeah, well, once you get into Kansas, right? I mean, I say Kansas obviously because
or Oklahoma, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
but you know what? Wizard of Oz wasn't in Oklahoma, so it can't be as bad.
It was what?
I said Wizard of Oz wasn't in Oklahoma, so they can't be as bad. Honestly, it was the massive, ridiculous gun that made me want to draw this more than anything else. So here it is. Eric, you're on questions, man.
Yeah, no, there's let me see. Living in America sounds scary. Just March in terms of storms, so it'll pass.
Really, it's only 1 month a year where it's really bad.
Yeah, towards the end of February, March, and then beginning of April. After that, it's all right. It's a crazy time now.
Yeah. So F1, the first weekend was it just passed.
Did you watch it?
I sure did. I watched the whole thing.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm a Ferrari fan. Ever
Oh, okay.
since Michael
Yeah.
Schumacher brought them back from the doldrums.
So yeah, you're
And,
happy.
yeah, the 1-2 was just incredible. I do feel bad for Red Bull though. That was, I mean, both cars in that situation.
Not a huge shock when you consider that um, Pierre Gasly went out and he had a Red Bull engine, and so
Are
that.
are they using Honda engines still?
Yeah, they are, but they're Red Bull. It's like they're still Honda engines, but Red Bull's developing them.
Yeah.
Apparently, something like I don't know exactly how it works, but
Yeah.
however it's working.
So he ended up in a ball of flames, literally.
Yes.
Then Verstappen's power unit died, and then Perez's died. It looked like he locked up or something, but the engine died so fast that it locked the rear wheels. It was crazy.
I don't know. Is that actually what happened, or did he lock up and then? Because I've seen conflicting reports. Oh, we have the other cat here.
Yeah, they say his power unit died, and because of the way it died in the turn, his rear wheels locked. So it was interesting because what were Mercedes 5 and 6? So they would have been. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a crazy ending. But I'm really glad that Ferrari has got a fast car.
Yeah, it looks like
and their tire degradation is really good because Mercedes has that porpoising problem, and because of that, their tire degradation is really bad as well. So they're in a world of hurt right now.
Yeah, everybody without Meredith here, this is how it's going to go all night.
If it's not this, it's UFC. Yeah,
that's right. We'll be talking about UFC next,
which was pretty good too.
So. With my favorite new UFC fighter. He's retired now. He's not at the UFC, but he's still my favorite.
Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about Paddy the Baddie.
Okay, yeah, sure, Paddy. Yeah, I was talking about Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what an unfortunate situation there.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? He did what everybody imagines that they would want to do.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a shame because I mean, there are consequences to that, and there have to be. I know, but what a terrible thing.
Yep, agreed. So Henry said Red Bull is not using Honda. Yeah, I don't know if they've labeled it something else or they just have their own. Yeah, it's going to be interesting either way. Eric, did you see the Batman? No, I want to. It's just 3 hours, which it's a bit of a commitment for me to take 3 hours at the moment. But yeah, I definitely want to watch it.
I've been promising to go see it for weeks now, and I still have not. But you know what? It was my mother's birthday today. We went for lunch today. We went to Meredith's parents last night. So we were there all night. Then we've got the horses. It's been hard to find time. It's not been easy.
So did you go to your mom today? You said you went there?
Sorry?
Did you go to your mom today? Sorry,
Yeah, we went to a restaurant. And it was the first time we could go to a restaurant without putting a mask on.
Oh, that's nice.
Real. So, hopefully things stay, in decent shape. So that'll keep up.
Right. Crazy Chaos, is Michael Schumacher awake yet? I've heard nothing about him lately. The family's pretty guarded with his health, which I think is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like he is. How much he's able to comprehend things, that's unknown. Apparently he watches Formula One with, what is it, Jean Todt, is it? I know he's friends with Jean Todt, so apparently they watch races together. Now, what that means, I don't know.
Yeah, and people are very guarded with it, which I understand.
Right. Henry says Red Bull just made their own engine, yeah. And then, who was it? They said it's called the Red Bull Powertrain. So, yeah, nice. Artisan 1979. David, I'm starting a regimen of your tutorials every morning. Male torsos for this week, then female figures for next week. That's how you do it. You take
Yeah, that's great. That is the way to do it. Absolutely.
focus study. Just focus on one thing and then do that for a week and do something else for a week.
Yep. And then you have your weeks where you really have to put it all together. But yeah, that focus really, it makes a big difference. You'll come out of the week much better at whatever it is you're working on.
Supersonica says, Meredith sounds different today. Yeah, feeling a little bit hoarse, excuse the pun.
Yes.
But I'm not going to sing Book of the Week. That's not going to happen. It'll sound like Johnny Cash. Yeah.
So I'm going to get everything sketched in. She's got, it's another costume that's crazy detailed. Yeah. Usually female figures, they're harder, but they're faster. This one, I don't know.
So Evan Johnston, who's a legend, I think it's Evan Johnson that pins your mini tutorials, isn't it?
I'm sorry, the what?
Is it Evan Johnston that pins the mini tutorials on every, not pins. He marks them.
Yes.
Yeah. He asks, how do you draw falling snow and snow on top of objects? I know David knows how to do that because Dave did a pretty iconic Batman shot with Batman on a rooftop with snow and.
Okay.
Pretty legit.
Check it out. Here we go. So I'm going to draw my Batman first. Obviously, it's, you know, it's a quickie, but anyway, it's Batman. And now I'm just going to draw basically. The hard thing about this is to make these not look too uniform. This is really, here, let me zoom in. So small. In the wrong thing. Okay, here we go. Okay, so and I know I've said this before, but the easiest way to make yourself not just draw like shape is to do a large shape, a smaller one, and then a smaller one. I went, you know, probably a little too small with the second one. Large, a little smaller, and a little, and just do groupings of 3, and don't do what I just did there. So now that I'm thinking, I find it took me so long to stop just being really. To get a randomness to patterns, it took me forever to kind of instill that into my head. And now when I try to do it mentally, it gets worse. So here's a bunch of snow around him. I'm just drawing it like shapes like this. It's a little big, but he's so small. If this was bigger, this would make more sense. And then I'm just going to draw some through him. Here's a piece here. And then I just have to erase it out. It's really the only way I know how to do it. There's a better way. I don't know. So yeah, I'm just erasing out over them, and that's really it. And then when it collects on things, obviously it just so I've got, here's a chimney. I should make it a little wider since he's standing on it. And so it just sits on top and it does this kind of a thing, and you can kind of shadow underneath it, give it a little bit of weight. You can give it some, you know, icicles, and then shadow under those, and that's really all there is to it. It's pretty easy doing snow.
Nice. All right, got a super chat from Andrew Law Art. Would you consider Ascension as Book of the Week?
You know what? I can't because I don't have it. I have not one copy of that book. But and not only that, but I wouldn't want to do my own book. That's kind of more than anything. That's not really what I would want to do. Ideally, I like doing other people's stuff because it's stuff that I'm interested in. Maybe like, yeah, I don't know. It's work that I'm really, you know, getting a lot out of, and all my influences come from other artists and other books, and so I want to show you guys that. Truthfully, that's kind of why. I don't know if that's like the right way to go, because I forget, like, you guys aren't me, so maybe you would want to see some of my stuff, but Yeah, that's why.
I think it'll be a good one. Let's see. JDSCT as a super chat. Hello, Dave and Eric. Dave was wondering if you have considered doing 1 or 2 of the Kickstarter sketch tiers on Monday Night Draw. That's not a bad idea, I guess.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all, actually. Now, yeah, no, I could do that. Actually, I could do that. That would work. I always know I'm in for it when penciling goes this long. Usually, we're 15 minutes in, and usually penciling is like super fast because I just sketch. But yeah, this is a job. And you know what I'm going to do? Excuse me. To make this easier, I'm just going to. So I've got the gun coming up like this. It's pretty easy because it's all just parallel lines. But I'm just going to put those in just like this, and it will make my whole life so much easier. By the way, speaking of using this stupid ruler, I have the perspective video all finished. It's all rough edited, and I haven't sent it to Yuri yet. Now I will right away, but yeah, I just got it all finished, and then we just had like stuff with parents and everything. So, but it's done, and Yuri is very fast, so it will be within the next 2 to 3 days at most. We'll have that, and I feel pretty good about it. I actually filmed it twice. I did the whole thing. I was editing it. It was trash. Like it was trash, Eric. It was the worst. And it's because I don't know what I'm doing. Like I know, I understand perspective for myself, you know. But like that stuff, like the really basic, why is there a horizon and how does that, like that kind of stuff is, I haven't really considered any of that for so long. I actually didn't know how to explain it. And so I was driving myself crazy and talking in circles. And anyway, it was a mess. So I had to completely rethink the whole video, but it's done now.
All right, so there's a few people. Whenever you use that ruler, we get some questions. So it's a nautical mapping tool. Binnacle, Binnacle makes them, and you can go to their website and purchase them or from Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, and Binnacle has better ones than this one. This one is it's wood. This is actually an antique, and I really shouldn't be using it this way, but what can I say? Binnacle has ones that are clear, and they're much better because you can see underneath your ruler what you've got. This one is a little tougher to use, so you know, bear that in mind.
All right, super chat from Dave.
Oh no.
Okay. The Three Eyebrows. Hey guys, I wonder if you have any tips on type of desk or desk setup for traditional work. Many thanks.
Yeah, and thank you very much. And once again, I still owe you an email. I know. I just haven't really been at the desk for just a little bit. My setup is not ideal, and I actually don't sit here much. I sit here when I'm drawing with you guys, but on my own, I actually sit on the couch more, which is also not ideal. Is that you, Eric?
Yeah.
Is that thunder?
Yeah, that's a pretty bad storm.
If Eric was quiet, we all know what happened.
Yeah. I like the studio designs makes pretty affordable, nice desks. You can get a good one for under 200.
Okay, so yeah, studio design. My desk is ancient. They're honestly, desks I think are not that big of a deal. It's the chair, and my chair is the worst. I've had this chair for so long. I told Meredith I'm never getting rid of it. I don't care, but I have to admit So I was talking to somebody else, and I said I will never get rid of my chair, but it's so uncomfortable I can't sit in it. And he said, if you can't get rid of it, why don't you just push it over to the other corner of the room so you still have it and get a new chair? And I said, okay, I'm going to do that. Why I don't think of these things, I don't know, but yeah, I need a new chair very badly. And what I want to do, it still wouldn't work for a live stream, but drop my eraser. I use a board, and when I'm on the couch, and yeah, I just want to sit back in a more comfortable chair and just sit with my art on the board. And I actually saw Alex Ross has a YouTube channel. For any of you that don't know that, and I was watching Alex Ross work, and that's how he works. He's got his stuff on a board, and he's just sitting back, and I'm like, oh, it looks so comfortable. Like Eric, that chair you're in looks much more. You guys can't see it here. I'm going to put you on.
I love this chair. It's a Secret Lab.
Yeah.
I love this chair, but I can't use it. Maybe I should get another one. I can use it at my desk because I'm not a fan of the chair that I have right now.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
Yeah, this thing's super comfortable.
okay.
You can recline all the way back, and they're made so you can sleep in them. So yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Meanwhile, my chair is
Maybe that's what you need, Dave. Like a
terrible.
Jean-Luc Picard chair.
Well, I needed a chair that I could sit at the desk with and work at my desk, but I'm kind of realizing I don't actually have to do that. I can sit at the desk and still be leaned back. I think it'll be better for me.
All right, tagging my model works. What's in Meredith's tea? Because her voice got real deep and accent. Please don't sing, Eric. I will not. You're safe there. Daniel Castelli has got a super chat. Hi guys, David. I hope you reconsider doing one of your books for Book of the Week. Would be a great learning experience to hear your thoughts on certain pages. Yeah, I agree. It'll be great.
I never thought of it that way. Yeah, I could see. Okay, you know what? Fine. I'll have to think of what to do. Actually, it would be interesting to do some of the really old stuff because it's like all my influencers are so much on my sleeve with that work. I think it'd be interesting.
Sebastian Adrian Cruz says, Dave, you should consider bringing Ariel Olivetti back to the YouTube streamer side of the force again.
Oh, he's coming back. Okay, now I can't speak for Ariel, so don't get me wrong, but we've talked, and he's said that he'd be willing to come back, and I absolutely want him to come. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. We talked about doing watercolor, I think, the next time. Is that what we talked about? I think.
Yep.
So
that'll be a rough one.
Now, I mean, part of me, I'm like, hey, let's just do what we did before because I'd love that. But yeah, I think watercolor would be great. So yes, Ariel, absolutely. I could have him multiple times a year. It was so exhilarating doing that. And actually, I can't say that we've had a guest yet where I'd be like, of course I'm going to say that, right? I'm not going to say, oh, we had a guest I'd like, but really, we've been so fortunate. We had Ariel, we had Brian Stelfreeze, we had Dan DeSantos, and we had Peter now. We've been very, very lucky. I feel like we had Tyler Kirkham, which was great, but I didn't ask him enough questions about his process, and I think I would have enjoyed it more. Now I enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but I think I would have enjoyed actually just trying to do it exactly how he's doing his. Get so much out of that. It's like it makes it so much fun, rather than just working the way that I would normally work. I don't like her foot. You guys can't see it anyway, but there you go. I wanted a pointer.
Yeah, I mean, there's an artist which David and I are pretty excited about as well. Can't say anything just yet. We're hoping he'll be able to do it.
Yes,
because David and I are trying out some new techniques.
Yeah, I see Russ Hicks has Ariel Olivetti's Instagram there, so yeah, definitely check that out. He's got a lot of great stuff there. He puts up some short videos every once in a while, which is great. And I should also mention that if you're interested in any of the techniques, we did a whole video on painting, but he actually has it really broken down in great detail on what's the name of the Eric? It's I got a membership and I can't remember where. Domestika, that's right. Yeah. And he's not speaking English, he's speaking Spanish. But if you don't speak Spanish, it's fine because it's all very well translated.
Yeah. That's pretty much what got David and I going again with painting was that course and Ariel's guidance through that.
Yep. Well, what it was you watching that and talking about it, and I thought, I want to try it too. So we were both trying it, and yeah, it got us painting again, which I'm so happy about.
Mentality 252 is wizard basic training good for learning to draw comics? I think so.
Now I don't know here's what I do know. There is some phenomenal stuff on there. There's some Bart Sears anatomy things on there that are great. So I know Greg Capullo's done some stuff on there. There's really great stuff. So yeah, absolutely.
They have them compiled into volumes. They're very expensive because they're out of print. So they took all the articles and compiled them topically. There's some good stuff in them.
I miss Wizard
Yep.
magazine. It's too bad. You know what I don't like now, Eric?
What's
A
that?
lot of things. Let's just sit here and complain all day. What I don't like is now when there's comic news, it goes up on a site and then 10 minutes later is replaced by the next article. And it's really difficult using any kind of a comic site to build up hype for a project, no matter what it is. Whereas with Wizard, now the truth is that Wizard had a bit of a pay for play model. Not always, but there was certain, you buy ad space and you get coverage, I feel like I need to watch out saying that. Allegedly, this is what I heard. I have never paid them or seen it being done allegedly. But, regardless, it meant that as a company, you could really promote not only at the time, it was more artists than writers, which I also miss that. But you could really promote more effectively and really build something up. So you'd have an X-Men event and it would be like a huge deal. It would be what everybody's talking about and everybody would want it. Now, I mean, that still can happen. It's harder. It really is.
Wouldn't that be cool if they brought Wizard back?
I would be thrilled.
I don't know how exactly they'd go about it, but I'm sure someone has the resources out there.
Yeah, well, I don't know what caused it to stop in the first place. So that would be, question number one. But I do miss it. And I know a lot of people had issues with it too. But I mean, it's like everything.
Yeah. All right. Michael Johnson Curry has a super chat. What's a good way to do splashed liquids like blood splatter in pencils for the inker? I know how in ink, but how can I tell an inker that?
Okay, so I've got my figure. And so here's my panel, and I'm going to put some X's, and that's all dark. And then I just write BWS, and that means black with stars. And if you want, that's stars. If you want some splatter, what you could do is, so you want, let's say, a splatter behind them here, just kind of line it in like this and just kind of fake it in. You don't go crazy because the inker is going to do all this, and just right here. And if you have a good inker, they know what to do with that, and they'll hook you up. That's pretty much how I would have always done it. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, I wish that I could say, because you could, and I have done this before, where you spend forever mechanically trying to fake the effect of a splatter. But why? There's no reason to do that. So that's
so Ross Klein says a Wizard website would be great. It would, kind of like a Muddy Colors for comics. That would be great.
Yeah.
Kenny does. Kenny's too young to know what Wizard magazine is.
Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't know? Kenny, come on. Yeah, I remember, it used to be, before I broke in and for a little while, for actually quite a while, it was such a big deal if you could get an article about your work, like you and your work, like an interview in Wizard. And if you're on the top 10 list, I mean, you were like, you'd go to conventions and you're like mobbed with people. You're like a hero. And it was a big deal. Now and this is a real shame, not only for writers or for artists, but also for writers. Now, writers, I think, have more of an advantage nowadays because online articles tend to focus on the writing more. But as an artist, to make a name for yourself is very difficult. It really needs to be an organic thing. Like you see artists that come up that really get popular. That would have happened back then too, but there were artists that would get popular that, what am I trying to say? It was easier back then. You could manufacture hype for an artist in a way that you can't now. Now you see people getting big and getting talked about. They've earned that 100%.
Sheldon Martin says when he was in grade school, him and his friends would take turns buying a Wizard mag each month. That's awesome.
Yeah. I remember Tony Daniel he had a little profile in Wizard, and I remember the first time I met him. Tony Daniel, by the way, you guys know Tony Daniel. He's a longtime DC and Marvel artist. He's doing an Image comic with Scott Snyder right now. He's phenomenal. He's a very nice guy. And the first time I met him, I was starstruck. Like, oh wow, you were in Wizard. You know, it was a big deal. Big deal.
It seems like a lot of folks would like that back. I think I'm up to. I think I have all the super chats. Oh, Stone Tower Graphics sent a super chat for $1.99, but no message. If you have a message, Stone Tower, just tag me and I'll read it for you.
Yeah. You guys remember Stone Tower Graphics, and thank you so much for coming, and thanks for the super chat. I have some Stone Tower Graphics T-shirts, one of a kind. I've got a couple of them, and I did a hat giveaway. Actually, we finally have those out now. We were late, and I apologize. The problem is that if I do a giveaway with Meredith, she's right there, and so she just takes it. If I do it on my own, she wasn't there, and so it was a bit of a I forgot. And then when I finally told her, I got scolded a little bit, and she finally put it together. So, but we did a hat giveaway of a hat that Stone Tower Graphics put together. It was a Finch flock hat. It was very, very cool, one of a kind.
Very nice.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Stone Tower.
So, Eric, you're not afraid of possible reprisals from Mrs. Finch for usurping her position? I would be shaking. No, this is definitely a Meredith and Dave's show. So when Meredith comes back, I will exit stage left.
More likely she'll want to keep you on so she can give you a hard time.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Once I get everything basically roughed in now, because I know where everything is here, and I know it doesn't look like much, but it's there. I don't have to think as much, which is great.
Anthony G, Super Chat. Hey, Dave. Hey, Eric. That is all.
Hey, Anthony. Good to see you here. That is all. Not enough characters have big spikes on them nowadays. And I have a feeling there are going to be a few places where I probably get the costume a little bit wrong, but it's a very complex costume. All the Spawn costumes are, but I think they have like a iconic enough design that they can kind of survive even if you mess it up a bit.
It just seems like some of those characters you can just have fun with, go a bit crazy with it, and the character gives you license almost to,
Yeah.
Go a
Yeah,
bit wild with it.
there are a few things that you can't miss.
Yeah.
In order for it to work, but you get those things in there and everything else, it all pans out.
One Mighty R is asking where Meredith is. David, Meredith's cat went walkabouts, so Meredith got a call from a neighbor, I guess, that they saw what looked like their cat. So Meredith is going to see if she can find the cat. So
yeah, they saw her. Well, they saw a cat that looked similar, and it's actually T. And so yeah, she's out seeing if she can find him. And the problem is that Meredith is pretty upset about the cat. So I don't know when she's going to give up, if she will. I'm fingers crossed that she'll find the cat, but I don't know.
Hopefully so.
Hopefully.
Dan Lessard. Hey, Dan.
And-
Watching you draw never gets old. The Bionic artist. Hope both of your families are well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you too, Dan. By the way, Dan, I got an airbrush. Here, I got to show you.
Dave's already taken it for a spin, so to speak.
Okay, so check it out. Dropping things. Okay, so I did I'm gonna break something. Hold on. So I did this one. Eric and I painted on Saturday.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I did this one, and it's all like there's a lot of airbrush in there. Basically, it's pencil and then airbrush, and then some colored pencil and then paint on top of it. So it's a little tough, but anyway, I used the airbrush, Dan, and so here, check it out. This is
Ooh, yours came in a fancy.
oh yeah, look at this.
Fancy tin over there.
Look at this thing.
Beautiful.
So yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I went all out because this thing apparently, I mean, you could basically airbrush like a microscopic little line with it. I couldn't airbrush anything smaller than about that. So, you know, I got some learning to do. There you go.
Yeah, excited to get more familiar with that.
Yeah.
And Dan Lessard is very, very good with
Yes.
airbrushing. He airbrushes motorbike tanks, and which looks so awesome, and definitely going to enjoy learning from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Yeah, a lot of comments on your airbrush. That's good.
Yeah, the thing was so much fun to do. I'm looking forward to it. Next one we're going to do is going to be Kill a Croc.
Yep. Looks like a space gun. It does.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. It's like 5 guns kind of jammed together.
Eric Grove Art, what size tank for the airbrush? I'm not the person to ask. I would definitely ask Dan.
Yeah, Dan Lessard would know. So maybe if he could. You know,
Yeah,
comment.
let me tag both here. All right. Richard M8422. The painting is utterly and totally incredible. I would agree.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think it's Dave's best. Like I've told Dave, the others are really, really good, no doubt. But this one, I think, takes the cake for sure. I think adding the airbrush is definitely going to help a lot, and it speeds things up. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. If I knew how to use it better, it would speed it up even more. I'm sure, like it would be better. But even if you don't, you can use it for a lot of detail and get something really amazing from it. I found though, like even being totally incompetent with it, it still worked. Like for a rough in, just to block in my color with like, and you get a nice smooth rough in, totally worked. So
yeah, that's my hope. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be interesting when I.
Yeah, Eric got an airbrush too, and so far he's sprayed only water.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I wimped out. I'm like, I'm gonna spray water on a toned piece of paper and see what it looks like. So I didn't just take the plunge.
Oh yeah, I had that whole thing penciled. It took a little. Well, it didn't take that, but you know, it's work. And I just dumped the airbrush right on top of it. I'm like, I'm just going for it.
Larry Lambert has a super chat. She Spawn looking amazing, and thanks for Monday Night Draw. I would not miss it.
Thank you so much, Larry. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I look forward to this all week. And then, you know, once it's like 6 o'clock on Monday, I'm like, oh, here we go. Because it's always, you know, getting geared up for it and like hyped up for it, because it's always the fear of completely blowing it live. And that has not gotten easier. I thought, oh yeah, no, I'll just totally get used to it. Nope. But I really do enjoy it.
Russ says double action takes some practice, but it's a must. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you guys don't know, and I'm sure that would be a lot of people because not many people airbrush now, but single action, you push the button down and air and paint come out and you paint, you know. But you get like basically if you want to go small, you'd have to get closer, but then you would get get a lot of paint in a small area, and it can potentially make a mess. The further you pull back, the wider the spread and the thinner it gets. But with a double action, you push down, and that brings your air, and then you pull back, and that brings the paint. And so you can control those independently, which clearly I can't do yet. Otherwise, I would have been able to get a thinner line than like that. But you know.
So Kenny actually mentioned something which, funny enough, I was actually watching it today. Jesper Elsjing, I really apologize if I'm butchering the last name. He missed his acrylics with his airbrush, and it keeps them wet on the paper, and you can blend them.
Yeah, I bought actually. I don't know if I told you this, Eric. I bought his tutorial. You can find Jesper. Yeah, I can't say it either. Just hopefully.
Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah.
But he's got on Gumroad. He's got his painting process, and so yeah, I got that. It was very, very good.
It's like the little gnome, right?
Yep. And so much of his technique, like it's really focused on getting accurate lighting. And accurate like color temperature on something that you don't have direct reference for, which I thought was really interesting. And truthfully, not as useful for me as it probably could have been, just because I'm not there yet. You know, in terms of skill, I'm just not there. So that's one that I got a lot out of, and then there were things that were over my head that I know I'm going to have to go back to.
Thomas Gandy, I've always wanted to get into airbrushing, but I can't personally justify the cost of entry. Well, I mean, you can definitely you can spend a lot of money with it, but you don't have to spend that amount of money. There's a lot of options for a much cheaper entry, which you know, it's enough to get you going. I was watching a video of a guy today using a very basic airbrush that he's been using for years, and his work's amazing.
That's that's the thing. Like I got an expensive one. I'm not gonna lie, it was not cheap, but my ability with it might as well be you know, somebody spitting out of a straw. But you know, I'll get there. My biggest issue with the airbrush, Eric, is clogging. That was because I had an airbrush before. I tried it before, and I got so frustrated because it would just clog.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out. Hey, Larry Lambert says I used to airbrush for a living on T-shirts. How do you like that? And Tagamo Model Works says Iwata Neo is not too expensive to work great. That's what you got, isn't it?
Yes.
So there you go.
The minute I feel like I can justify something else, I'll do it. Yeah, and also again, I really don't know what I'm talking about here, so Dan can correct me. But you were airbrushing inks, right, Dave? Which are really very thin.
Actually, I was airbrushing acrylics, just liquid acrylics.
Oh, okay.
And I was diluting it really heavily with airbrush. I don't know.
Thinner.
Additive, whatever, you know. Yeah. You can use, and I think it might even be better to use distilled water, but I don't know where to get. Well, actually, I know now. I asked, but I didn't have. What's that?
Pharmacies should have distilled water.
Right, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, and I still haven't gotten any. I need to run out and get some.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where we're gonna have to hit all the roadblocks to be able to, you know.
Well, and the question is, distilled water, do you need it? Can you just use regular water? Does it really make a difference?
I guess it depends what impurities and minerals are in the water that you're using.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see all these videos about clogging and dry tip and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I guess we're gonna hit those snags, but and then just have to learn how to, you know, work around it or get better. It's just one of those things.
Yep.
Tagamo says it just keeps the airbrush cleaner. Yep.
Well, and that's worth it right there. You know, anytime I'm not having to deal with clogs, because that is really, for me, that's the nightmare of using an airbrush.
So Dan says distilled water is fine. I've used regular water. The airbrush thinner is the best.
Okay, and that's what I used, airbrush thinner. So I'll just keep using that. I've got a huge bottle of it. I've had it for ages.
Pedro Fialho. David, what is the brand and model of your expensive airbrush?
It's an Iwata Micron C.
CM.
Hold on. It's an Iwata Custom Micron CMC.
CMC.
And really, this thing is like, the Cadillac of airbrushes.
Yeah.
I just can't use it very well yet, but I'll get there.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Here's why I got such an expensive airbrush. Because I figured, since I don't know what I'm doing, okay, so there are like two schools of thought. One is, when you don't know what you're doing, don't bother buying something expensive. Why would you? Because you won't get really any benefit from it, which is true. But then the other school of thought is, if you get the best, then at least when it's not working well, it's you and not your tool. You can kind of isolate that problem away, which I kind of like. So that was my justification. I don't know if I'm just justifying because I just, I want to get the best one. But
no, I mean, you're right. It's the same with like watercolor, right? If you're picking up watercolor and you don't want to spend a lot of money on paint or paper, and you're painting on like printer paper, you're gonna have a really tough time learning how to watercolor. In fact, I would say it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So you need paper is the most important thing with watercolor. But my point is, if as a beginner you want to learn how to watercolor, it's better that you spend the money on good paper.
Yeah.
So I definitely believe, I hear what you're saying. And it would have been better for me to spend more money on an airbrush. It's just at the moment I was chomping at the bit. I wanted to get going with Dave, and I just Hobby Lobby had this. I went and just ran and snagged it. So probably here soon I'll buy a better one.
You might not ever really need to, though, truthfully.
Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. It'll either work or really go pear-shaped.
Yeah, like I'll bet you Dan or Larry Lambert could just pick it up and boom, no problem. I will say, one thing. Okay, when you're penciling, if you're penciling with an HB pencil, or especially like a 2B or something really soft, you are going to have problems getting detail, and you can start thinking like you drive yourself crazy with it and lose time and waste unneeded energy on fighting the tool. And if you're using paper that really doesn't erase well, or the pencil snags into, these are kinds of problems where you think, oh, this is just what it is, and it can add frustrations that you really don't need. And because you don't know what you're doing as well as you will one day, you can you don't realize that it's just like for me, if I use bad paper, I just think to myself, well, this is not the best paper, and I just kind of got through it. I'm not thinking there's something wrong with my technique, because I know it's a paper. If you don't know that, though, you really can drive yourself crazy. Anyway, that was my rationale.
Oh. Tagamo is saying if you use inks, you won't get clogs. So I got a bunch of Liquitex acrylic ink, which is super intense. So I'm going to have to even water that down.
I got
super vibrant.
I couldn't remember what it was last time we talked, Eric, but it's Daler-Rowney.
Yeah.
That's what I got. Yeah. Am I saying that right? Whatever. Anyway.
It's good. Close enough for me. Yeah.
I'd go over and grab one, but I don't know where I've got them. I need to go. You know what? We've been here for a year. I still have some things in boxes. I had to go find my airbrush compressor and the hose in a box.
Yeah, boxes like that will last for a while.
Yeah, well, if you're Meredith, they don't. She's had everything unpacked since like day 3. But if you're me, it'll be that way forever. All right.
Kelly Art. Just FYI for marker uses Hobby Lobby as Prismacolor markers on clearance, cheap. Yeah, Prismacolor is discontinuing a lot of their materials. I know Prismacolor is one of them. Verithin as well, which kind of makes me sad because Verithin Black is, after looking at some of Mike Butkus's art and his utilization of Verithin Black and his rationale for it, I went to start, getting some of those, and it's very hard to find right now. They're very hard, and you can get very, very nice details in your underpaintings or in your art. So Prismacolor is clearing a lot of their stock, sadly. So yeah, if you can get Prismacolor markers on sale, go for it.
Yeah, well, I looked on Amazon. I couldn't find any at all, Verithins. So I need to start looking around a little bit more. But it can be. This is the problem of most people work on the computer now, which is great. Kenny Wang says, "Dude, Butkus is a god." Yeah, absolutely. Are you guys familiar with his work? He is
yeah. Maybe
unparalleled.
Maybe Russ can post some links. Yeah, his Instagram is just stare worthy. You can spend a lot of time.
His photo reference, like he does movie posters, and so you can see the photographic reference. That stuff is outrageously good. I mean, it's incredible. But what really, to me, makes him incredibly special is that he can also just create monsters and people and crazy things just out of his head beautifully. Yeah. He's such an incredibly well-rounded artist. You just don't see it. Not to that level of skill in every different area.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Yeah, his Gumroad's pretty good too. It gives you a window into some of his process, which is great.
Yeah, not the painting though, just the black and white, which which is still great, but it'd be nice to see some of the painting. So
Richard M8422 says, instead of Verithin, use Faber-Castell polychromos. They're really nice. Aren't they softer? And they're oil-based, right? I don't know how that will work how well it will work with mixed media. Maybe it will.
They're not oil-based. I know that.
No? Okay.
Whether they're softer or not, that I don't know. Yeah, but I do know that they're...
Yeah, if there's a good pencil that's similar to Verithin, you definitely want to know about it. I've actually been having a lot of fun with Stapler Lumograph Black, which gets you really, really dark colors with a lead that doesn't, isn't soft and doesn't smudge very well, or doesn't smudge a lot. So, yes, Stapler Lumograph Black is really good. Yeah, that is very hard, he says. Well, that's great. I'm going to try it out. Sorry, Dave.
The Stapler Lumograph I still have not tried. Not yet.
Mark Brooks uses polychromos with Copics. Nice.
Yeah, he gets some beautiful results. Absolutely. And if he's doing that, look, he's his own artist. I don't want to, suggest that he's just doing somebody else's technique, because he's not. It's his own technique. But I do know that he's very close with Adi Granov, and they work out a lot of technique together. And so my guess is that probably Adi would be doing the same thing. So yeah, I'd say you could not have higher praise for polychromos as a tool. So there you go.
Now I have to go and buy a bunch of that. Brad Scott Art has a super chat for $10. Just a quick hello. Keep up the great work, fellas. Hope the cat is found and all right. And Miss Meredith rocks.
Thank you so much, Brad. Yeah, I certainly hope so. Yeah, the fact that she's still not back, though, I don't think she found the cat, and she's just not giving up. Because that's how she is. She is very not happy about it.
Yeah. Lance, is the Verithin a colored pencil? It's Verithin it's by Prismacolor. It's their other color pencil brand. It's not the Premier. It's different, but it's very, very hard lead. so you can get super fine details with it.
Right. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I find if I really want that kind of super hard detail, um, I would only be using black for that, I would think, right? I don't know. See, the problem is I don't know what I'm doing, right? We're kind of figuring it out. But I did actually on the Mr. Freeze, I just used this. I just used my pen a little bit here and there. It worked.
That'll work.
Certainly gives you the detail. Unfortunately, it's limited to black, but you know what? You can paint over it too. So
Wayne Blacken has a super chat for $20. Hi, Dave and Eric. Thanks so much for the discussion. I spent hundreds of dollars on experimenting with paper and pencil and doing comic art, and it was frustrating not knowing. Thanks, Dave, for suggesting the 2H lead so much. Yep, 2H is great.
yes, thank you very much. That's very generous, Wayne. I appreciate it. And yeah, 2H lead. It's such a simple thing. Now, I use 2H. When I was at Top Cow, and this is my biggest frame of reference, it's a long time ago, but a lot of the artists used H. I know, I don't want to say actually, because I forget, but I want to say that I think Mark Silvestri used H, but I'm not sure. I tended to press too hard though. So that's a factor. For me, my 2H actually works really well with my heavy hand because it doesn't end up building up too much. If you don't press too hard, maybe H is a better choice. Also, H actually is a good choice for me, and I do use it sometimes. And that's when it's really hot and humid outside. 2H can start to fight with a paper. It can just be a headache. And so I got a little gum stuck to the back of my picture here. Sticking like.
Whoever buys the commission can pick it off and chew it.
All right.
Charge extra for it. Kenny hates 2H. Yeah, I mean, it's got to do with your climate too, right, Dave?
Your climate and your hand. And so, like at Top Cow, we had 2H, we had H, and we had HB. I think we might have had like, whatever, 3H or whatever, something maybe a little bit harder too. I don't know that anybody ever used it. The only time we got things outside of that range is when somebody would go to the art store that didn't know what the artist used, and they would just buy a bunch of stuff that we could never use. That happened a couple of times. Now, hard to complain. We got all that stuff free back in the day. Good times. I remember paper used to be free. It just used to, and this was the best. They don't make it anymore. It doesn't exist. I know. Okay, it does exist because Richard Friend still has some. There are a couple artists out there that still have a few sheets of it, but yeah, that stuff just used to be sitting there in a big pile, and you could just walk up and whoop, just walk away, and they would just buy more.
Ross Klein's mentioning Blackwing pencils. Blackwings are amazing, super smooth, and they're just a bit soft for me. I know they have a harder variant. I just don't know how hard.
I've never heard of it.
Oh no, they're great. If you can get one just to try out, I would definitely try it.
Yeah,
they're like the Ferrari of pencils.
The thing is, where I am, and it's not Canada. I mean, it is Canada, but it's not because it's Canada. It's because I'm in a relatively, it's 225,000 people in Windsor. That's the big city that's close to me. And, that's not the biggest city. So and also we're very blue collar here. So we don't have like a really good dedicated art store. What we have is Michael's. And they've got stuff, and they're very nice there. They're great. I love the store. But yeah, it's what we've got. I remember we were just talking about this. We're finally coming back into motorcycle season, which is exciting. I was out on the bike on Wednesday. This is the other reason I'm losing time, but last year I needed to go and pick up some paint. And so I'm there with my buddy. We were both on our bikes, and he sat on his bike, and it was had to be 35 degrees outside, which is whatever, I don't know, 100 degrees in the States. And he refused to go in because it's like a girly store. And there I am going to Michael's on my motorcycle. You do what you got to do.
Well, when David comes to visit, I'm gonna give him a huge box full of art supplies. Maybe I'll throw a Blackwing in there.
Have you tried one?
Yeah. Like I said, they're beautiful, and they're very, very smooth. I mean, they glide across the paper. It's just a bit too soft for me.
Yeah.
Wadershish has a super chat. Hello, Dave, Eric, and Flock. Wow, this is going so quick. Big fan of 2H2. Been using it since Dave first mentioned it on his stream. Hater.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Waiter. Yeah, and it is. It's a huge difference. Such a simple little thing, And this is why it's always so incredibly frustrating to me when people ask a legitimate question about what tools an artist is using, and then other people say it's not the tools, it's the artist. Well, yeah, I know. But it is also the tools. They make a difference. They really do. And fighting with tools can make you think that you have problems with your work that you don't. And I think that's not good. So it's important to know.
All right, so it's book of the week time. I'm going to read one more super chat from Johnny D. Remember, Dave, Amazon is your best friend for art. True.
Oh, it is. I get almost everything on Amazon. And if not Amazon, JetPens. JetPens.com. Okay, so book of the week. Here we go. This is going to be a hard one to pick up. I should just drop it, but it'll shake the camera. So look at the size of this thing. This is a monster. This is the Spawn Compendium #1. I got this one and I got #2 last time I went to the comic store. And because we're drawing Lady Spawn, I thought it would be a great time to bring out the Spawn. And this is some of the most influential work for me starting out. Look at this. I didn't even have that planned. I think that might be my favorite Spawn picture of all time. And I remember seeing this really, I think, the first time I went to the comic store. And it's just sideways for you guys. I'm sorry. I don't know if it'll even. Look at that.
That's great.
And, bearing in mind that while shots like this are more common, and certainly have been more common since this, when he was doing this stuff, nobody was doing this. This was so new and fresh. And I mean, it's still awesome, but yeah, and I remember, talking to artists and they would say, he's great, but like his anatomy is not that great. And, you can't do this and you can't do that because like the anatomy in here is not, strictly speaking from an anatomy book, correct. But it looks great. It has so much flow and just the shot itself it's incredible.
I love how the cape is wrapping. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at that. And this is actually, I've got a tutorial coming up very soon. And so much of it is going to be based on what Todd did with this stuff, with his capes. I mean, look at this. There's panel after panel of it. I think, oh, my book. Shoot. This one right here it's incredible. And you know what? I could go through this whole book and it's massive. And it's endless how great the shots are. I love that one there. It's so beautifully framed, but really, I don't even know. I don't know how to break down Todd McFarlane's art and say this is why it's so good. I really don't. I mean, he's an incredible designer. He's a great storyteller, and I feel like he doesn't really get the credit for that he should, because it's much more of a kinetic kind of a storytelling than a lot of storytelling artists. The artists that really focus on that and do something that, that kind of work, what people would consider to be storytelling based work. This is very different from that. But this, in a lot of ways, I think is, I don't want to say stronger because I mean there are really storytelling focused artists out there that are great, and I wouldn't want to minimize that. But his sense of framing and action and pulling in, like he shows a rat, and then you see the feet, and then he pulls out the figure. It's so beautifully framed, just with the light going right down to the figure, and then he goes into a nice close up. It's just beautifully done. And then you get to see the whole figure of Spawn with the cape draped all over him. Yeah, beautifully done. Anyway.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. And it's like every page. And this is the thing about Image Comics that you really don't see as much as I would like nowadays. Just every page is bananas. Like it's just crazy. And there's something to look at. That's great. Yeah, this is just going to be me like going, oh, look at, and Meredith's not here. Let's do this for an hour. I won't do that to you guys. Don't worry. But I want to, there are a few panels especially that I really want to, like, I'm going to end up skipping things that I'd love. I mean, look at that. That is such a great page. One of my favorites. the transformation page. He's got a page where Spawn gets punched through the chest here. Look at that panel. And again, I've seen other artists do this kind of thing since, but with the kind of just motion and energy that he's able to get with this, it's so rare to see it done anywhere near as well. Then he's got the same panel basically again, but drawn differently. Still very cool. I love that shot, Spawn, but I just want to show you guys my favorite page. And it's a stupid favorite page, but whatever. I'll find it. Meredith's not here, so I'm finding it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he holds himself back, right? It looks like he's having so much fun and just goes for it.
Yeah, every page, he's just going for it. I can't remember what issue it's in right now. I mean, look at that. That's very Kelly Jones-ish, by the way, who I'm also a massive fan of. I don't know if Todd was ever looking at Kelly Jones, but I don't want to put words into Joe Benitez's mouth. Joe Benitez was he's an incredible artist still, obviously. Okay, so I'm getting there to this day. We worked together at Top Cow years and years ago, and Todd McFarlane, I'm going to say, is his favorite artist. And
I have a book of Todd's, or about Todd here, about his path to professional comics, and it's a very, very interesting and motivational read for anyone who's looking to get into the industry.
This is my favorite panel.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's super cool. I don't know if anybody else would pick that panel, but I just love that panel. I don't know why. I love it. Whatever. My favorite. And then now here I am skipping past a whole ton of ridiculously great Todd McFarlane stuff. And I don't want to do that, but I do want to point out that this book is this much bigger, and the whole rest of it is Greg Capullo. And the greatest thing about it is it's Greg Capullo starting out drawing in a style that he actually had developed at Marvel Comics before this. He was doing Quasar, then he did X-Force and a few different things. Then he started working for Todd. Todd was inking a lot of this stuff, and Greg was really adapting to that style. And as I need to talk about this one. Meredith's not here. What are we at? 907? Okay, let's get back to that. But as this goes on, his style actually started to really complement what Todd was doing more and more. And by this point, even, and we're about that much further, it really solidified into the Greg Capullo art on Spawn that everybody remembers. And he's changed and developed since then into the kind of work that he's doing now, which is ridiculously good. But this was, I remember I would wait with bated breath, or whatever you would call it, every single month for the next issue of Spawn to come out to see this stuff. Unbelievable work. I mean, look at that. So yeah, now I just want to, before we move on, this is Mark Silvestri. And Mark actually was drawing this book. Here we go. When I was in the studio, we were all there. So he was in the same room working on this one. And yeah, I remember how amazing this stuff was, and how influential this was for me. I feel like the colors are maybe a little more saturated than I remember them. I don't know if they were so saturated printed, but I will say, and so this panel here especially,
wow,
Mark drew this whole figure, and the whole thing was drawn. It didn't have the black and the kind of gold and like this design on the arm, so it was all done, like the arm was all finished. It was beautiful. I mean, it was such an incredible figure. And then Mark got reference that it was all dark and then had this kind of a pattern on it. He was not happy, so he had to completely erase it all and redo the whole thing. I remember that happened. Let's do I remember when Mark drew this stream. Look at this. He is just chewing a burger in the whole foreground of the panel. Such a great shot. I think Mark doesn't get the credit that he deserves for the kind of caricature that he was able to do. Great stuff. Anyway, there you go. I'll stop.
Very nice.
And Anthony G says, I did not know Mark drew Spawn. Well, he drew one issue because Rich Ware says, I'm still waiting for David Finch to draw Creech. That is coming. I want to do it for sure. But all of the Image partners actually drew each other's books for a month. And so my very first day at Image, I went to Homage Studios. Mark Silvestri was there. Jim Lee was there. And Jim Lee was drawing the cover to Savage Dragon. The first time I met him.
see if I missed a super chat. Yes, I did. Another one by Johnny D. I appreciate the stream, Dave. Dave? Dave made one to catch up on Spawn comics. In fact, I'm drawing Chapel right now. We need Todd McFarlane as a guest on here.
Yeah, that would be pretty amazing. I don't know if I could get him to draw.
Yeah,
how crazy would that be?
It would be good just to hear from him as well. Yeah,
Oh, it would be
amazing.
Yeah, it's not like I'd say, you know what, if you're not going to draw, we don't want to, like, I take what I could get, but how crazy it would be to get him to draw. That would be really something.
Black Tiger, with a super chat, was going to ask what I can do to add energy to static poses. How can I make a soldier at attention look cooler? Would a new cushion help your chair?
I really think, maybe. I do think I just need a new chair. Okay, so let's talk about that, actually.
That's such a good question.
It is. I'm just going to do the back of this page here. So I'm going to draw somebody standing there. And let me zoom in a little bit because I'm drawing pretty small. It just goes faster if I do it small, honestly. Okay, hold on. Hang on here. Okay. So here's a figure that is standing there, and you can see that it is not. Barbarian says, please zoom. I'm right on top of you. So does Salmon. Yeah, I got you guys. Okay. So it's very static, and there's really no, and we're not really looking for movement so much in a figure that's just standing there because they're not moving. But what you are looking for is tension. And so I'm going to draw the same figure. What I want to do is I'm going to draw, I'm going to draw basically, like, imagine this is like a sack of flour. And so here's the side of the sack. It says flour. There you go. And you can see it's just kind of inert. But if I take it and do this, now it's got some shape to it. And so it's a little more interesting. But if I take it and do this, now it's a lot more interesting. What I'm doing is I've got, and everybody always says, and I'm sure you've heard this before, where you've got your shoulders pointing this way, and you want your pelvis to point the other way. And that's essentially doing this, and you're creating tension here, and you can feel that tension pushing up through there, and then you can feel the push contracting into here, and it gives you a motion, like you can feel that. And because he's standing at attention, I don't want to do that. I just want to show you guys that. Because he's standing at attention, I don't want to do this either. Like, I don't want to put his head here and his arms straight down. And here's his legs. That would be pretty, it's not really standing on attention, I'll put it that way. But you can see it still has a lot more interest to it than this. What I want to do is take my sack, essentially, and give it like an upward curve, because I want to pop his chest out really high. And then I can keep his head high, which works, or I can lower his head, and I'm going to alter this one to lower his head. And this really, I like this being tensed up this way, and then this coming this way. It gives it a bit more of a, from the side, I've got his head pointing this way, his chest pointing this way, his pelvis coming out this way, legs, and then, the lower, and the more movement you get through the body, it just looks much more interesting. But anyway, I want him at attention. I'm going to have his head up. And so now here's my pelvis. I'm going to create a shape here. I really want a strong shape in the inside of his legs here, and I can do all of my detail on the legs on the outside. And I want to do that because I really want them to have a powerful overall just feel to them rather than just kind of planted down. And now for my arms, I really want to kind of punch the shoulders down because, again, I can feel that tension pushing the shoulders down. And feet. So that is a much more powerful figure. And you can see it's because I did that with the legs, I really created an overall shape. So it's a flow that goes down. It really plants them into the floor, which is such an important thing. This one here looks like, I mean, he could practically be floating. I mean, if I lifted his feet, now he's just floating in the air. Whereas this one here looks like he's planted on the ground, and getting that bit of a curve to his legs really looks like they're crushed into the ground. And so that just gives it a lot more dynamic kind of energy. There are a lot of ways to do this, and there's a lot of theory behind this, but hopefully that is helpful for, this case.
All right. Stone Tower Graphics has another super chat. Sorry, phone died. David, I saw in a previous Monday Night Draw that you did an art review and critique. Will you be doing another? Thanks, and thanks for the content.
Yeah, thanks again, Stone Tower, and I absolutely will be. Yes, I need to talk to Robert Marzullo again and to Clayton Barton, and we'll get another one sorted out very, very soon. I don't want to leave it the way that we did the last time. It was months and months. Everybody just got busy, but I really want to be a little more consistent with that because I think it's a really useful thing.
Jamal Rashid with a super chat. Hey guys, always good to be here for Monday Night Draw. Just want to stop by and say hey and hope we find Stormy. Being a cat lover, I know how it feels. Yep, it's never fun.
Thank you so much, Jamal. I really appreciate it. I hope so. I don't know. I have a feeling that Meredith is over talking to the neighbor right now, crying in her ear. I have a feeling that's what's going on. So, because I figured she'd be back by now, one way or the other. And the fact that she's not back, she's not happy. So I figured, oh yeah, by 9 she'll be back. And at this point now, I'm thinking we might not see her tonight.
Yeah, I love cats. It's just their tendency to be more adventurous.
Well, he's a male cat.
Yeah.
Also, and he's spayed or neutered or whatever it was. I think spayed is female cat, but anyway, But it's still he just wants to be outside all the time.
Yeah.
He's an adventurous cat, and we've been letting him out because he doesn't go far, and we keep an eye on him. What happened? I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but one of the kids let him out at night and then fell asleep, and so he was out all night, and
yeah. Let's see. Dark Area, New Vegas. Dave, do you have any skill expectations when you do critiques? I'm pretty green, and I'm getting tongue-tied, and I'm still a bit embarrassed, but would like some pro tips.
I have no expectations at all, and really, the advice that you get is always going to be tailored to the level that you're at. It's not a problem at all for you to have a long way to go. It really isn't. As a matter of fact, actually, you get a better critique sometimes, or at least a more useful critique when there's more to critique. I've had people come on, and the stuff is just so developed. I say, "Wow, that looks great! Congratulations!" Now I hate you because you're very good. We're all like that, right? Don't we hate people that are talented?
A lot of times it's better to get critiqued that early on because you can fix problems earlier, and you'll just be more prone to take that advice.
Yeah.
So definitely don't be scared. Don't, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It'll just make you better.
Yep. So did you watch UFC yet, Eric?
Yes, I did.
I haven't seen it.
It was great.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I finally watched the Masvidal fight.
Yeah.
Which, was good.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Masvidal. I hope he can bounce back. I think he's on a 2 or 3 fight skid right now, right?
Yeah, he is. Which
So it's always dangerous. Your
yeah,
UFC
that
career's
was,
on the line. Anything past 3, you're on the line.
you are. Yeah, it's amazing how you can be a fighter with a lot of hype, and a few fights later, I saw Dan Hardy got released, and he had a decent run. He was a football player, and then went over to UFC, and
Uh,
unfortunately, he
Greg Hardy.
lost. Dan Hardy.
Uh, I think it's Greg, right? I think Dan
That's
is
that's that's what I said. Greg Hardy.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he got he was doing not bad. But this is what happens, right? When you first start, you don't necessarily get the best fighters unless you've come from another organization. You tend to fight fighters at or below your skill level. He was doing pretty well, and then he started meeting stiffer competition. When that happens, you get tested, you get rocked.
Yeah,
Things
and
very quickly.
you have weaknesses in your game, and that is they start getting exploited, and he wasn't able to adapt quickly enough. But I'm hoping he'll be back.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah. Now, I will say I love Dan Hardy, and there was
The
talks
actual
of
Dan
him.
Hardy.
Huh?
The actual Dan Hardy.
Yes, there was actually talks of him making a comeback. I don't know for which promotion. I would say don't do it, but you never know. He might come back. But yeah, I was a huge fan of him as a fighter and also as a commentator.
Well, I'm still a huge fan of El Kukui, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know where that is going,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
his fight with Gaethje kind of broke him a little bit, I think.
Yep. So I'm getting. Oh, it's not what I was thinking it was. I was thinking that was her coat. This is actually the butt of her gun. It's easy to get lost when I'm working fast.
So Salmon Kutcher says 555 people watching right now. Great.
Wow, thank you guys.
Hopefully the likes are matching.
You know what I'm going to do now, right? When
What are
I
you
say
gonna
Meredith, I'm going to say we had 555 people and you weren't even here. So
Yeah.
I'll do that on the day that she can't find the cat. Does that sound like it'll? No, I think I might.
Pretty good idea to wait a bit.
Yeah, I'll let that one go.
Yeah.
So I figure it'll take me another, 10 minutes? Something like that. Get my blacks roughed in here, and then it's detail, and then we're done. How am I doing? 9:20. Oh, you know what? I'm definitely a little slow tonight.
That's okay.
Part of that is like we did the book of the week, and I really could just talk about this stuff for hours. Bore you guys to tears. I know, but I could do it. And Meredith, she does not have patience for that. So without Meredith here, Eric, we could just do this all night. That is the other thing about it, though. Now, I don't know what you're like for schedule.
Oh, I'm good.
But normally I have it's like a 10 o'clock and I'm just finished. And I know a lot of you guys watching are too. So I tried to be respectful of that, but this one might go just a little long.
Yeah, that's all right.
The times I say, I'll finish this on my own, that never happens, right? It just goes in a drawer, and it's because I never finished it, it just disappears. I've got a couple like that. I think the one time I did actually finish one, I did an Invincible one.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody wanted it, so I had to finish it.
Did you post a picture of that? I think you did on Instagram, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. There's some characters I would love for you to draw, but I don't want to bring them up because I don't want them to be any kind of spoiler. I mean, I can say names and you won't know, but if there's certain names, I know the chat would agree with me if I would have mentioned them. But hopefully season 2 will cover some of the characters and you can draw those. But there's some characters I think you'd really like to draw.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing. So here's what I know I've got confirmed. I've got a Man Thing versus Swamp Thing for Henry for sure, but also just because I really want to do it. And I also have for Greg L. Static Art, who's not here tonight. I don't think I haven't seen him. Is he here?
I haven't seen him.
I see Lance is here though.
Lance is here. Henry's here. All the regulars. Barbarian.
Regardless, for Greg, I want to do Static because I did it before. It was his request, and I did the wrong costume, and that was like over a year ago already. And so I would like to actually do the proper costume for him. So that one is also coming up. And then after that, I don't know. I know that I've agreed to stuff and then I forget. So I apologize. But
Duff Peppy has a super chat. I'm starting to cough.
Oh, really?
Isn't that strange, Dave? I'm like,
if your voice goes a little higher and you start singing, we know you're possessed.
I don't know if it's my coffee or what. Anyway, hi Dave. Would you do a bit of work? Would you do a bit of work that you weren't satisfied with because you had to hand it in because of deadlines, and then talk about how you would improve it?
Yeah, I certainly have. Now, I want to show you guys an example of how this ends up going down. Okay, I'm going to do it here. So I have to draw a character being attacked, or let's say an army being attacked by another army. And it's a double page spread, and I have 6 hours to do it, or some stupid number. Like, it's just not possible. So I'm going to lay it out twice. First, I'm going to lay it out the way that you would do it to do it properly. So I've got one army here. Here's a guy, he's charging, and another one here from the other side, and then I'd have like someone up here, and here's my whole wall of people here, and then my wall of people here, and they're charging at each other. Crazy panel, tons of figures. It could actually be worse because I closed into the front where they're closing in, but I think it's a little more exciting than this whole huge battlefield. Anyway, can you guys see? It's a mess, I know, but imagine that this is actually something that you could understand by looking at it. Here's a guy. These are all guys that are attacking, and then there are guys attacking on the other side. That's one way that I could lay it out. Now, if I have like 0 time, let me find a different spot. This is what ends up happening. It's not so much worse drawn, and it is worse drawn too, but what really ends up happening, and is so frustrating, is I'm going to draw, here's someone in the foreground, and he's got his hand up, and I've covered my whole foreground with this guy, and now I'll draw another guy here, and he's also attacking, and then you'll see the other side, just a couple of people here, and then a big cloud. And basically, maybe I'll even, shadow this guy in too. And I don't know if this is the best example, but basically what I'll do is I'll take an element of the picture and I'll just turn it into a massive silhouette. And then you only see like a tiny little bit of detail in here to kind of infer that it's an actual thing. And when that happens, sometimes it really actually works. And then other times, like this example here, this is trash. It totally doesn't work. It doesn't read at all to me looking at it, but I end up doing that because I'm thinking, oh, well, I got no choice. And I have pages that are terrible because of that. And that happens like that, actually. That's the biggest sacrifice, I would say, is laying out for the time as opposed to laying out for what's going to work the best.
All right. Some more super chats. 1 second. Make sure I haven't. Okay, that was the last one. Samuel Reyes. Good evening. Hope Meredith finds the cat. How would you go about drawing speed lines for speedsters to show speed, especially like Flash's lightning?
Flash's lightning?
Yeah, like speed lines just to indicate,
okay,
speed. I guess the lightning would just follow those speed lines, probably.
I'm using up all my paper here, but here we go. I've got the Flash, and he's running. So there he is, basically my flash. Here's my picture. Imagine that I framed this a little better, whatever. And so I know I want it to look like he's coming out this way. And so what I would do is I don't want to put my point in the shot. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with speed lines that go down here too. Now that could work. And so if that works, it's fine. But I think I'm going to put it here. And then what I would do is I'm just going to take my ruler and I'm just going to throw in a few points. I would do a few more than this because I want it to be fairly neat. But what I would do is something tighter than this. Basically, I'll just do it here about as tight as I would go. So about like that. And then I would just freehand. This depends on your level of control. And also bearing in mind, I could get away with this because I'm a penciler. I would be relying on an inker to clean this up. And now I'm going to do like some lightning coming through here. And so I'm just going to draw one side of it, just a big squiggly line. I want it thicker as it comes towards you. So I'm going to start here and then just connect it into a cool that gets smaller as you go in. And then another one here, squiggle it in there. You know, whatever. That's really all there is to it. And once I've got all this, and here, this is what it looks like when I'm, you know, really behind too. It gets this messy sometimes and I'm counting on the inker to fix it. And the problem is the inker is just as screwed for the deadline as I am. So it's merciless to do this to them. But yeah, sometimes it's the job. And there are times I've had, because I can actually, when I'm really rushed, I can pencil faster than an inker can ink easily because they need to be more neat. And so it ends up going to a couple of different inkers. And so then what I'll do, especially if it's a little larger, it's a little easier, or if I have a better eraser, but this is what I've got right now, I'll just erase out some, like, you know, some stuff in there just to give it, you know, some, like, you don't want it to just be lines. You want it to look like it has some energy going through it. You just, if you have one of those little pencil erasers, much better. And you can get some stuff in there. And then what the inker will generally do, depending on the inker, some will go all the way through and then just white it out. Other ones will break it up there, but whatever. That's the inker's job, and we don't have to worry about that because we're pencilers. But that's how you do it. It's actually very, very simple. You find a point that you want to radiate out from. Oh, and something I didn't mention, and hopefully it carries across. Notice how I'm not just doing line, 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 all perfectly even. I've got like a little clump here, and then I've left this open. And so it just gives it a little bit more interest visually.
Okay, Story by Osmosis is a super chat. Hey Dave and Eric, Spawn is looking rad. Can you advise on the process for creating a second light source? I can see how anatomy is going to get a lot more attention when balanced light hits it. Thank you.
I advise on lighting for a second light source. Yeah. Hold on here. Let me do these skulls really quickly. Just
we can come back to that one. Let me read these other ones real quick. Black Tiger says, please write down Solid Snake and Big Boss.
Good choices, yeah. Actually, yeah, I remember somebody mentioning Big Boss.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yep.
And then I vouch for Anthony G's one as well. I've been waiting on Shazam for about a year. If you're looking for ideas. And then further down, I think it's Salmon Kudja says Shazam versus Black Adam sounds great. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, that one's coming up too. I will do that actually. I think that's a great choice. So yes, Shazam. Hopefully, I can learn how to pronounce it before the stream, so you don't listen to me for 2 hours going Shazam versus Black Adam. I think that's a great choice. Okay, so let me. All I'm going to say is when this takes all night, it's your guys' fault too. But with Meredith not here, I don't mind so much. All right. So I'm going to draw. Let's just do an arm. Keep it fairly simple. Here's my fist. Okay, so there's my arm, basically. And it could be better, I know, but we don't have a huge amount of time. Well, endless time anyway. I'm going to light it my standard way. And so that's going to be from here. And so let's just do that. And I'm not even going to worry about the fact that I have another light source right now. Generally speaking, I don't like to do this because I don't want to have to erase. But for the sake of making it easier, and I do this sometimes when I get lost, I'm just going to worry about that one light source. And because I know I want another light source over there, I'm actually going to go a little bit... it's my choice. And it's basically what I'm doing is if I angle my light in like this, then my light is going to hit most of this and my shadow will get fairly thin. If I angle it like this, then my lights turn much more and it's going to make that shadow much thicker. So I'm imagining that I'm turning it because I want to have an opposing light source. And that's just strategy. I mean, it's hard to have another light source when you don't give yourself, enough shadow to really make that work. So here we go. It's not the best, I know, but it's just a rough to get us kind of what we're looking for here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eraser. I'm just going to erase this clumsily because it's the eraser that I've got. To be totally honest, this is the eraser that I have. I don't have a better one. I probably should. And I'm going to reestablish my form here. And so I've got basically where my shadow lines up on this side of the picture. Like I've got it all established here. Now what I need to do is I'm going to have a light coming from here. And for my opposing light source, I don't want to point it into my picture because it will obliterate my core shadow. I want to have a core shadow. So for this light source, I'm really going to go basically from the side. And I don't want it to be as strong as this light too. This is just a rim light. And so what I'm going to do is, and let's do this over here, because this can be a little confusing. I'm combining two lights. I'll do it here in a second. So I'm going to draw my arm in again. I'm going to light it from here. And this light's all the way on the side, so it's not going to catch too much. And so this is what I would get if I just isolate this light. Would I even get that? I don't know. I need to work on my anatomy. This would all be dark here. This would all be dark here. And so honestly, I didn't really do that very well. Truthfully, that could be better. And I think had I actually established my anatomy a little better, but it is what it is. This is basically what you get though, just that little rim light. And so now I'm just going to combine the two. I think that would be dark because it's covered by the chest there. And that's why I was struggling here. It's amazing how quickly, just by altering a few things, I can completely mess up my ability to do something. But yeah, that's how you combine two light sources. You have one light source. You need to make sure that you have enough of a core shadow that you can allow for another light source, and then just do that one from the side and imagine it being its own light. So what you don't want to do, what you want to avoid, is you got this complex form. I know, and then just follow it like this for a light. Like you can see, that doesn't look like any kind of a light at all, unless this is just a flat surface. What you would want, and I'm just going to do some crazy thing again, is I'm going to imagine that this is bigger and rounder, and then this gets a little smaller. So my light will be bigger here.
Dave, you captured my arm perfectly.
Thank you. And then we'll get a little thinner. Like you need to give it some volume with this light. So I hope that's helpful. I feel like this whole thing here totally just confused myself. This is like tutorials or the actual ones. The amount of times that I go down some kind of rabbit hole like that where I'm trying to explain something and I realize that I'm so confused now by the end of it. I just delete it so you guys don't see it. Happens all the time.
All right. Sheldon Martin has a super chat. Did Dave say all night? Sounds like a draw stream party.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, this one it's more intensive than some, and usually I end up having to basically compromise it pretty heavily. But what time are we? 9:40. I got another. Yeah. If this even takes till 10:30, I think I could actually do the job right. So. This is always this part here. I'm using my my brush that I have very little control over. I'm not good with these, and I always have to make a decision like how far do I want to take it with a brush, because I have so much more control over other tools, but they take longer to use because I can't get as thick a line. And so I'm roughing a bunch of stuff in, but I don't want to get too carried away and give myself something that's a nightmare to fix. Off the picture here. There are times like I'll do something that's a real mess like this, and I know I can just fix it into something that's neater. Like I have an idea for it, and then sometimes it just does not come together and ends up being even worse once I try and clean it. You never know. Eric, are we still live?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Everyone quiet.
Yeah, we're good. So I see you. Did you have this? Because another one, the 1 week the ink was fighting you a bit. Did you have this pen last week?
No, this is fine. This one here.
Yeah, it was the black barrel one was a bit of a problem, right?
Yeah, the black barrel. What was happening is it's apparently is used more for ink washes. I didn't know that, and you told me that, eh?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was just picking up all the time. I just didn't realize. Learn the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah, I have zero control of this brush. That's something I need to play around with at some point.
Well, you don't need too much control because I think if you were trying to do everything with it, sure. But the nice thing is there are multiple tools, so I can just basically blast everything in like a mess right now and then, kind of clean it.
Yeah.
There was a time actually before I kind of found these that I was using a Sharpie marker. You can imagine what a mess that was.
Yeah, and you can ink back over it, right? Or can you?
Oh,
wait, sorry. I thought you were talking about never mind. I thought you were talking about a like a correction pen.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I think you said the Posca was an eye opener, and that you could help fix your inks and then ink right back over it again, right?
Yes, and that's why it's so good. The actual ink is I like to use the Posca. This is a white pen, by the way, if you guys don't know. For those of you that don't know, and it's not the best. It can be a little frustrating to use. You have to use like a couple passes sometimes for it to really cover. And I've talked to people that said they don't like it because of that, which fair enough. But what you can do with it is ink over it with all of your tools. Even a quill will ink over that stuff because it's like a paint surface. Stuff is great. I have a feeling Meredith just came home and went to bed.
Yeah.
I think she just went, like, she's not thrilled. So, because there's no way she's still out there looking for the cat now. Well.
Yeah, the thing with cats, you just never know. They can they can be gone for a long time and just show up.
Yeah, we've talked to people. Our cat was gone for like a week, and I don't know. when the cat wasn't back after like 24 hours, I was feeling already pretty pessimistic about it.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's going to get close to what I can do with this pen without making a mess. I can do some of this.
Well, Meredith told Ellison that she didn't find.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, there you go. We have an update. Wow. She would have told me, I would think. Like, I would have heard. Wow, it's too bad. Okay.
Yeah, the last cats that Hannah and I had, and last, I mean it by last, is so I had a cat in South Africa that ran away, and the outcome wasn't very good. But because of that, I was determined to get indoor cats only that don't like to wander around. So my wife and I got they're called ragdoll cats, and they're super intelligent, and with intelligence comes mischief. And man, those cats, they kept us on our toes.
Yeah, a smart dog can be a real pleasure, or a cat, but they can also be.
Yep. And yep, they don't like to wander or anything like that, but you get a whole other set of problems with them. But and because of that, oh, Ellison's got a ragdoll. You had a ragdoll? Yeah. They're great cats, but yeah. Being a purebred, they have a lot of like they were constantly at the vet and hairballs for days and all that fun stuff. But
So they're like the Habsburgs of cats. What you're saying?
The male cat we had was incredibly intelligent. He would get into stuff which would just blow your mind. Like, how did he know to do that? So next animal will be a dog, I guess.
There you go. We'll see how fast this part goes. Her hair is still gonna look. Yeah, there's a decent amount of stuff that's gonna take me a little time, unless I really want to just hack through this, which I don't. So for any of you guys that are like, all right, I need to get to bed, I understand.
I think everyone's saying in the comments they're in for the long haul. So
all right,
everyone's excited about it. Let's see who asked that. David is using Strathmore 200 paper. His is blue lined for comics. I think you can get Strathmore 200 that isn't blue lined, but
here, take a look at this. I'll show you. This is what it looks like. It comes in like a pad, and you tear them out. And it's good to know what this looks like, because when you go to Amazon, you'll see a picture of it, and so you got the right thing. It's 200 series Bristol acid-free heavyweight smooth surface. I use smooth because it's you can get a cleaner line easier. I just find it easier to ink on. Some inkers actually like more of a tooth, and I know a lot of pencilers like a little more tooth, so they like rough. I actually penciled on rough for a little while there at Marvel, but I was getting complaints from inkers that it was hard to ink, so I switched. So I always use smooth. Brush inkers don't mind rough, but quill inkers especially really don't like rough paper.
Nick Lentz sends a super chat for $2. He says, "Hi, David."
Hi, Nick.
And there's a Nick Lentz UFC fighter, but I'm not sure it's this Nick Lentz.
Well, it's a good name.
Yeah.
You know what? My memory is so bad. I'll watch a UFC fight and they'll say, this guy, fought November and had like a knockout or whatever. And I'm like, I watched everything. Because when I watch the prelims, I watch the Fight Pass prelims, because I have a Fight Pass, I I watch everything, and I'm like, I've never seen this person before in my life, because I just forget.
Yeah, so I mean, they have what, over 500 fighters on the roster. So I mean, there's a lot of new blood, and it's you got to get used to those names too.
Well, this is why you get a mullet or you do something. You need to stand out somehow.
We haven't had a good mullet in the UFC for a while. I think we're due.
I just saw somebody with a mullet. I'm pretty sure.
Not sure
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like I would remember. So, but I'm pretty sure I saw a mullet.
Oh, Liz Greg L super chat. Hey guys, been out, so no audio, and he's asking, is Meredith out?
Yes, Meredith. And by the way, it's Greg. Yeah, we were just talking about the fact that you weren't here. She is out looking. Well, she was out looking for our cat. Our cat ran away 3 days ago, and unfortunately, she didn't find it. And I don't think she's the happiest right now. So, she said, "I said, you know what? I'll cover the stream for the first hour. That's fine. You can come in for the second part, and I'll see if Eric can come in." Which thank you again, Eric. Actually, I don't know if I said thank you in the first place, but thank you.
Absolutely.
And bailing me out right now. But yeah,
Right.
I think Meredith, after not being able to find the cat, just went upstairs and she's done. She's not happy.
It's understandable. Nick Lance again. Another super chat. What do you think? I guess, of the current Spawn books, all the new releases?
I think Spawn is cooler than it's been in years, and I think Spawn has been cool for years. So yeah, I love what he's doing right now. I think it's a lot of fun.
Sheldon Martin says Roy Nelson is the last UFC fighter with a mullet. Yeah.
There you go.
He wore that mullet with pride.
Yeah. He made it look good. It was sad when, people, especially like he was a heavyweight, and that's a real knockout game, and it can shorten your career, unfortunately.
Yeah, he had an iron chin for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then he started getting tested, and
well, that's the problem of relying on a chin is, when it goes, it goes.
Yeah, when it turns to glass, that's it.
Yeah. So I get so much more precision with this. I can't just throw in a big area. And this is a new one, so it's actually giving me a nice little line, which really, these ones, they go on me so fast, and then I have trouble getting detail with them. So I started buying them in bulk.
The tip starts fraying or dying.
Yeah, and the line just gets thicker.
Nick Lentz again. Have you met Todd McFarlane?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's I mean, he's a great guy. He's very intense too. Like, he's a talker for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a small business. There are some people I haven't met, but it's not many. So, and the ones that I haven't met, like I've never met Kelly Jones to this day, and he just doesn't really do conventions. And I would love to meet him. And now I'm sure he's done some. Just I've never had the opportunity. One day it would be great to meet him. I finally got to meet Rick Leonardi just a couple years ago. And yeah, I had never met him, and I got 2 sketches from him. Actually, he was great. He's actually repped by my old art dealer and very good friend Spencer Beck. So that's how I got the sketches. I mean, I paid for them, but that's how I got it arranged. I don't like, and I never will ask another artist for sketches, because what ends up happening, and I've done this too, I don't want to charge another artist. So I say, it's fine. It's free,
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to put an artist in that position. So if I ever get a sketch from someone, I always get it through a proxy. So I'm not getting a free sketch and put them in that spot.
That's a good idea. Jim Klein with a $20 super chat. The picture is looking great. A question about the Fuda Nasuki brush. Hold on, I need to scroll up. That you use. Do you find they loosen up over time? I'm enjoying them, but they're more stiff than what I usually use. Sorry to hear about your cat.
Thank you so much, Jim, and thank you for the super chat. It's very generous. And what brush was it?
The Fuda Nasuki brush.
Oh, this one here. Yeah, the brush pen. Yeah, they lose detail fairly quickly, and it depends on how you use them too. If you're very light touch with them and only do small lines, but I just use them for what I need them for, and so it kills them. And I just pitch them in the garbage and get a new one. I know there are some artists that actually get beautiful effects from these when they start to go. I've never used one of these long enough for the ink to start running out. I always pitch them because I don't like the tip.
Dave Johnson, he was at Dallas Comic Con the one year, and he was getting these effects on like Wonder Woman's. I think it was Wonder Woman's hair, and I was talking to him about it, and he actually saves micron brushes as they're fading out. He actually saves them and keeps them aside for like some dry brushing, like hair and whatever other techniques.
Yeah, and I never do dry brushing. I should experiment with it more, and I just don't. I'm such a penciler. Inking, I mean, I've been doing it for a few years now, but it's still not really, my thing that I really trained doing. So I tend to be a very penciler-based inker still to this day.
Greg L again, super chat. Hope the cat's okay. Still out, so may not have many chats, but I got the stream playing. Just weren't here. LOL. By the way, any tips on fists in different angles? Dave's got some Gumroad content about drawing an arm from different angles, and that's great for fist reference as well.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you the best way to do fists from different angles, aside from there are some artists that do like just really cool. They have their own kind of style for fists. But the best thing to do is to just learn a breakdown of a hand that's very simple. Because if you're looking at your own hand, it can be really easy for me to just go, okay, here we go. Here's my thumb. But there's a certain amount of I've learned quite a bit about how to break down forms in the hand. If you haven't really done that as much as you should, that can be much more difficult, and you can get lost in the detail, like this wrinkle here and this wrinkle here, and you need to know what you really essentially need in order to do that. But that aside, your own hand is the best reference you'll ever get. So from different angles, and the nice thing about a cell phone nowadays is you can just take pictures of your hands. I do this actually. When I have a hand that I'm kind of struggling with, I'll look at my own hand. If the angle's wrong, I'll take a picture. If the picture is backwards, I'll just use the other hand. Or like worst comes to worst, I'll bring it to Photoshop and turn it around or whatever. But I just use my own hand as reference when I need it. It happens. Especially Walking Dead covers, I'm finding it happens quite a bit.
Let's see. Nick Lentz says the creator of Witchblade is the Comic-Con I'm going to. That's great. And then he has another one for, is there an image founder you have not met?
No, I've met them all. I've met them all over the years.
And then Alejandro Marino. Hey guys, have you all been to the T-Rex Cafe yet? Well, I wouldn't recommend it. I hear they're short-handed there. Ha ha ha. Hope everyone is doing well. Many blessings to the Finch family and viewers. Happy Monday. I was like, where's the super chat going?
Whose chat was this?
Alejandro Moreno.
And
Alejandro Moreno. Sorry. Let's see. Michael DeFonte. David, have you tried Bristol 500 series smooth paper? And if so, what do you think of it? I understand they are archival quality.
Yes. I've tried 400 series. I found I didn't like. I don't know why. feels junky to me. And I'm sure it's not junky. It just felt different and I didn't like it and I didn't give it a chance. 500 series I've tried. It's great. It is so much more expensive, you know, and I find this paper works really, really well and it's nowhere near as expensive. And it's also easier for me to get more of it. Like I get a pack of this and I think there's like 20 or I don't know how many pages are in one of those packs, but a bunch. Whereas 500 series, it's a hassle trying to get all the paper that I need. So, and if I'm doing like the illustration, if you call it an illustration, but whatever, the Mr. Freeze that I did, that's on Strat. Actually, let me tell you.
Strathmore 400.
Actually, here, let me grab it.
That stuff's legit.
Okay. So here's a new sheet of it. It's huge. It is Strathmore illustration board for wet media. It's so big that I can't get it under. And okay, here it says 500 series illustration board for wet media, 100% cotton, vellum surface. So it's vellum. There you go. So yeah, this is a 500 series. There you go.
Yeah, Strathmore 500. Yeah, that's a 20 ply, right? It looks like it's thick, so it's probably 20 ply.
It doesn't say apply, but what it does say is 78 heavyweight 78 point. So, you know, the one person on the face of the earth that knows what 78 point means, but it's thick.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
I mean, one sheet of this this was $10.60. And I think that's American. This is bananas how crazy expensive. But you know,
I ordered some from Dick Blick. It got to me and it looks like someone ran over it with the vehicle almost. So I reached out to them and they sent me they allowed me to keep that and then they sent me some more. So I got a nice some nice stock of it here.
So now we all know the secret. If you work on one of those boards and the painting doesn't work out, you just crumple it a little bit and then show them the other side and say it was crumpled.
Yeah, reverse over it with your car.
I kid. Don't do that.
Take a few pictures. Yeah.
I'm going to be banned by Dick Blick.
Yeah. Yeah, their customer service was great. I was ready to send it back, but they're like, no, keep it. We'll send you some more. So yeah, that stuff's so much. It's so nice to paint on. For me, it's just the buckling that doesn't buckle as easy, and just the surface is real nice to paint on and draw on.
It really is. It's I did a bunch of other paintings just on this paper here, and it works fine. It's not bad, but it does buckle and bend, and that stuff just takes the paint really well. I don't even I didn't gesso it or do any kind of prep to it. I just painted right on the thing. It worked. Yep. I would gather that if you did gesso it, it'd probably be better. I don't know. Whatever. It worked fine, so I didn't worry about it.
No mas. Hey David, thanks for the how-to vids. They have helped me improve my drawing after being away from it for years.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad.
Second that.
Yes, thank you very much. I hope you guys like the perspective one. I actually have a credit that I want to put in there that's not in there now, and I feel like it needs to be. I can't remember. I have it saved. I need to look, and so I'll make sure the video is properly credited. But I struggled like crazy to figure out how to explain it, and so much of my video is actually from me watching a video of somebody else that did it incredibly well, explained it really well. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge the fact that a huge portion of my video is very much from somebody else. I tried to, make it my own, but at the same time, it really is. And I know knowledge in any field isn't copyrighted, but whatever. I feel like if I'm going to pick up that much from another artist, I should acknowledge it.
And then Nick Lens wants to know your view on King in Black.
I really like Donny Cates a lot. I would say I would consider him a friend. He's a really nice guy. We talk at conventions. I have not read it. This is a problem. Like, I look at the pictures too much. It's not often that I actually read the comic. I'm always looking at the pictures.
Rich Ware says point is a measurement for, or PT. I'm sure it's point is a measurement for cardstock or heavier. And he also mentioned he reached out to Kelly Jones for you.
Oh, really? Well, thank you. How amazing would it be to have Kelly Jones come on and do something, eh?
Oh man,
That would be
has
something.
to draw Batman, right?
Oh, he could draw whatever he wants, but yeah, Batman would be great.
Yeah, draw whatever you want. Just put Batman's cape on him.
Yeah. I'm actually fighting right now a little bit in here with these folds are not correct. And it's what I established with the brush, just not enough control. And if I have like if this is a finished thing that's going to be, something I spend a lot of time on, I would have to fix that. As it is, I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to leave it. I think it's fine.
Or Dead Man. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Dead Man.
Ooh, that's what you need to draw, Dave.
What's Dead Man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be.
Yeah, you could really have fun with that.
Yep. Well, I would want to do the Kelly Jones version. That's really what it comes down to. There is only one Dead Man. That's Kelly Jones's Dead Man. I remember it was one of the first books of the week that I did, Dead Man.
Yes. Yep.
And there's nudity in that book, which I forgot that there was. And I think it was like on one page in the whole book. And I hit it and I'm like, what? Try not to do that on here if I can help it.
Tagamo super chat. After time, we are in uncharted territory.
Oh yeah, 10:07, and I still like this is nowhere near. This is crazy. Oh well, sorry everyone.
Someone earlier mentioned we should do a Bernie Wrightson study stream. That would be fun, but man, how do you? Wow, yeah.
There's a lot that you get out of it aside from his incredible technique with a brush and a pen and everything like that stuff. I don't think I'd be qualified to even really try and break down. But
he's just on another level. It's just incredible.
But the way he does his figures, his hands, that kind of thing. Am I the most qualified to break that down either? I don't know, but I think I could get a lot out of that. I think it'd be a fun one.
The book, I think, was it last week's book of the week or the one before? You had some Bernie Wrightson art. I need to try get that book because there's some really, really great stuff in there. I need to go back because it didn't look like. Maybe it was some of his earlier stuff. I'm not sure.
Well, one of his most popular, I don't know. I don't even know if it's popular. One of my favorite books of his is called A Look Back, and it's a huge collection of a lot of his covers and different artwork over the years. My mother has a copy of it. She's a huge fan of it too.
Great.
I think he's her favorite illustrator.
Oh, really?
And it's funny. Yeah, she paints and it's all, it's very nice stuff. Like it's portraits and she likes painting old people because they have a lot of character in their faces. But meanwhile, she likes Bernie Wrightson, She has eclectic tastes.
Wader Shush says like and subscribe. I would agree.
Yes, thank you very much. Oh yeah, by the way, like and subscribe. I feel like I should zoom. You know what? Let me zoom in a little because this is all pretty small and we are actually, this is zoomed in because I forgot to zoom back out. There it is zoomed out. Let's zoom way in. How about that? Maybe a little less. There we go. It gets a little blurry when I zoom in too much.
Dark Air New Vegas. If only I could subscribe a second time. Well, don't do that because then it will unsubscribe you. You click it again.
So, Eric, we're planning on doing a painting stream pretty soon.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think the introduction of the airbrush and obviously it's a long way out from the first painting stream and all that. I think it'll be fun to. It's always a little bit stressful, but I think it will be a little bit less stressful. Let me word it that way.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Is anybody here? Any of you guys have a? So here's what we've got left. We're doing Killer Croc now. We have Riddler left. We have some female characters, but we're not going to do that for the painting because they're hard, man. Honestly, that's why. I hate to say it, but
I can do a poll. I can do a poll on here.
Yeah. So we have Bane, but we already did Bane.
Let me see if I can actually. I say that. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on.
We have Clayface, and Joker. Obviously, we've been kind of saving Joker.
Yeah, Man Bat or.
Oh yeah, and Man. So Clayface, Man Bat. Who else? The Talon guy.
Talon. We've done Bane. So.
Bane. And then there's some crazy ones like there's Psycho Pirate, who I did in my Batman run, and some other ones like that too, of course. But
I'm gonna go on mute just for a second, otherwise we're gonna get feedback. I'm gonna pull up the stream and see if I can do a poll.
Now I'm just going to go quiet. Without Eric here, I feel like I'm talking to myself. Need some. There we go.
I'm pretty sure there's a way to do a poll in here. See if my Google foo will help here.
I know Jimmy Reyes knows how to do a poll, but he's been kind of out of the game for a little bit because he's had some internet issues. He can't stream right now.
Oh, no.
Well, he'll be back, but they just moved, so he's getting it sorted out.
Create a poll. Here we go. So let's see. Ask a question. So this will be for a painting stream, right? Which character, which Batman villain, right?
Yeah. So we have Man Bat, we have Clayface, and we have Joker. I think that's looking at my Batman statue. Yeah, that's pretty much who we have left. Oh, and Riddler. But I mean, like honestly, you guys want Riddler? No. Nobody wants Riddler.
Oh, let's see. Add option.
Oh, and Ra's al Ghul. I know I'm saying it wrong, but.
God, now you're going to make me spell that.
Just say Al Ghul.
R-A-G. Okay. So from the top, we have... Man Bat, right?
Yep.
Killer Croc we were doing this Saturday, so you wanted to skip that one, right?
Well, you know what? We could even put that in there and maybe just do a different one this Saturday and do that one live if everybody wants to.
Yeah, it might be good to do a bit of a dry run. So Killer Croc. Thank you, Allison. I'm gonna add. She spelled Ra's al Ghul for me. That's good.
Thank you, Allison. Appreciate it.
Would you consider? Yeah.
What?
I'm trying to think if he's an actual villain. Would you consider Red Hood a villain?
No, unless you use like the original kind of Brian Boland Red Hood, which is fine, but I don't think that would be the most fun to watch just because here's what I would do. I would find a reference of somebody wearing it in cosplay or something like that, and use the lighting on like a red dome. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Okay,
just,
so
'cause
here's
I
the
wouldn't know.
rub. Sorry. The rub here is I can only add 4 to the poll.
Well, we only need 4 because nobody's doing
So,
Joker, or I mean,
yeah.
nobody's doing Riddler. You know,
So it's Man Bat, Killer Croc, Ra's al Ghul, and Talon.
yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hopefully the poll went up.
We'll find out.
There we go. Nice. Okay, let me switch accounts real quick. I want to make sure I do that. Okay, there we go. So vote away. And that'll be for the upcoming painting live stream. Gotham is a villain, right? It's misunderstood. I don't know. Great
He is a
character.
villain, though.
Man, I love. Huh?
He is a villain.
Yeah, he kind of went. He went off the rails.
I was so sad when.
Definitely a villain. Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm creating characters that, who knows, maybe they'll take and people will like them and they'll get remembered, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
And they shave their head. I'm like, well, are you kidding? This is what we're doing.
What a great character. Yeah, he went all explodey, right? Didn't he?
Yeah. Well, basically, they're like super powerful, but when they use their energy, it drains their life force also.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Gotham Girl. What? 125 votes. Wow. Okay. Well, we'll see where it lands. Problem is, it's covering my chat window. I don't know how to get rid of it. Okay, there we go. Hopefully, if I close it, it doesn't. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it there. Polka dot man. Just do a pencil sketch and paint in some black dots, and you're done.
This drawing is so loose in some ways.
Oh man, Azrael would have been great.
Oh dang, we've got it. Oh, who said Azrael?
Rich Ware.
I'm sorry, Rich.
Maybe we'll end up painting him anyway, and just.
Yeah.
Hush would be good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, look at this. What kind of Batman fans are we here?
Well, this is what we can do. I can close this poll, grab the top one, and then do like another 4 and grab the top one, and then flip a coin or something. I don't know.
You know what? Let's just go with what we got here, and then
Okay.
We'll add the other ones to the ones we're doing. But
yeah,
there's a point where, you know what? It's the best we could come up with for a poll at the time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Bobby Lloyd, female Spawn, I think is a super difficult drawing.
It is, yeah, for sure. To do cleanly, it's a very detailed character, and I don't want to. I hate hacking out like the end of some of these, and it happens. Meredith is just tired, which I understand, but she's already. I guarantee she's long asleep by now.
Yeah, and there were 2 from Nick Lentz. I missed. D. Grayman artwork is inspired by Kelly Jones, and then he said Bernie Wrightson was an amazing guy to meet. Yeah, I'm sad I couldn't have met him. I know Russ met Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah,
Russ actually got a nice picture with him. It's great to see.
Yeah, I met him a couple of times over the years, and then I think maybe about 2 years before he passed away, I was having lunch in the green room at a convention, and he was there with his wife, and we talked for a while, and not about comics. That's the problem. Like in the green room at a show, you can't, I'm a huge fan of your work, and let me talk about all your process. Like you can't really do that to somebody. But I did get to just talk to him, and he was very, very nice.
Yeah. Jim Klein. David, any tips on drawing big barrel-bodied, muscular people who aren't very cut? Someone Kingpin, or if you're familiar with pro wrestlers, Big Van Vader or Keith Lee. Clayface would be oh, dang it. Clayface.
Did we forget Clayface?
Clayface wasn't in there. Clayface would be a fun paint. David and I actually mentioned it a few days ago, how fun that would be.
Yeah.
It would be fun. So many good options, Nice thing is that, they can still be painted. They're still there. They aren't going anywhere. We'll get to them.
Okay, so Jim, let me. Now I've kind of covered this before, but let me just go ahead and move this. Okay, so when you're drawing a large character, and I'm going to basically just draw Kingpin, and so a general figure, I've got my chest and my pelvis, and the thing is, these are shapes that work for a regular body, but once you go for a larger character, I personally like to start, first of all, a heavy character like that. I like to start going for more of the my sack approach again. And so here's my big sack. And that just gives me a lot to work with right there. And then I could put my pelvis here, and here's a leg. Now I'm not drawing Kingpin right now, obviously, but here's like if I was drawing Penguin, that's kind of using the sack that way, and here would be his head. Now for Kingpin, let's erase this. I'm going to do my sack again, but I need to be much wider on the top. I want it wide at the bottom, but it needs to be wide at the top too. And then his arms are gonna. So basically what I'm doing with the arms is I'm just going proportionally much, like a normal arm would be like this. And so all I'm doing is just making it much wider for its width, much wider for its length. And so here we go.
Hey, Dave, can you censor that a little there?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you censor that just a tad?
Oh, sorry. Here, let me just move the camera. Hopefully I'll move it without it.
There we go.
Okay. Hey, there's my layout too, by the way. All here. Hold on.
For Henry Jeremic?
Yeah, there you go, Henry. If Henry's still here. Okay. And so for his head, I want to go with this kind of a shape too. It's like a bullet kind of. And for his legs, he's got a really wide set, big legs. And so now I'm going to draw his chest. I wanted to have some dimension because he's not super doughy, but I'm not going to give him any kind of detail across his stomach. And so let me just tighten this up. It'll only take me a second. So let's just do this. But you can see the different proportions that I work with for that. And so I'm going to draw, here's his chest. That's something I really want to show. Here's his arm. This is a pretty big muscle here. So even if somebody's pretty heavy, you're still going to kind of see that. It's worse when you do. My oldest closing the door, and he's closing it so slow it's going. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
It sounds like the beginning of Thriller.
Yeah, that was the opposite of quiet. And here's my belly button. I'm gonna shadow the whole stomach, kind of up into the belly button a little bit. It's kind of got that shape. And there you go. I could give him a couple of little ribs here. I don't know that I would want to do that though. I don't know. I think it works. But you have to be really careful because somebody that heavy, you wouldn't really see that, I don't think. So there you go. It's more dealing with like broader kind of, bigger shapes like that. That's about how I would approach it. You don't want, veins and super tight little tiny detail for a figure that's that heavy.
So I'm kind of relieved in a way, Dave. It looks like Killer Croc is got a commanding lead.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Noah Miller, Condiment Man. Yeah.
No.
Imagine, imagine he won the poll. Huh?
Actually, it could be a fun painting. You never know.
You could just go crazy with all nice saturated colors.
Yep. All right. Well, Killer Croc then. Now the poll's still going, eh?
337 votes. That's impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, keep voting for Killer Croc.
How many for Penguin? Or
Man Bat is second.
okay. I would have thought Joker. See, you know what? I respect that because Joker is like it's always Joker. Everybody always does Joker. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys didn't just pick Jokers. I'm looking forward to doing it, but it's kind of fun to do some of the other ones.
Jim Klein says thanks for the tips on drawing Kingpin-like characters.
Oh, you're welcome.
Russ Hicks says Michael Myers enters the room. Creek.
Yeah. Yeah, that's him trying to be quiet.
Yeah, Red Hawk says Joker is definitely overdone. So many other rogues that deserve more love. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Once we're finished with the Batman Rogues Gallery, which will be a little bit, we've been talking about doing some of the Spider-Man villains.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
And you know what's funny? Venom, by far and away, is the most popular Spider-Man villain. I bet you if we did a poll, he would not win. Just because, again, it's, you know.
Yeah, Venom or Carnage.
Yeah.
Rhino would be fun, man.
Yeah, Rhino's my favorite. I did a story with Jeff Loeb. It was the death of Captain America back when Marvel killed Captain America. This would have been around 2008 or so. It's a long time ago. And
spoiler.
What's that?
Spoiler.
Right. And the villain in it was the Rhino, and that's because Jeff said, "So, who do you want to draw?" So
I love that Rhino you drew.
Thank you. It's so nice. I mean, Jeff Loeb he's a great guy and a lot of fun to work with, and a great writer. And yeah, really nice when you work with somebody that's willing to say, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And you know, I'm sure if I would have picked Condiment Man, well, wait, that's a DC one. You know what I mean? Something equivalent, I probably wouldn't have got that, but did get my Rhino.
So Robo Waffle comes in with an interesting one. I think that'll be a challenge is Craven, just for the fur.
Oh yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah. See, now I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah. Mysterio. Oh man. You can go to town on Mysterio.
We need to stick to our guns though. We're doing the DC ones, like the Batman ones first. I want to do all of them before we move on.
Yeah. Sandman. I guess for Sandman we could just spray some just do some splatter on the ground and call it Sandman.
Yep. Well, you don't want to get that cheap.
Let's see. Stiltman. I'm not familiar with Stiltman.
Yeah, me neither.
Vulture.
Yeah, Vulture's a great one. See, that's what I mean. Like, there are two characters, I think, in comics that have the best rogues gallery by far. Like, no other. And it's Batman and Spider-Man. And they're pretty close to, you know.
Yeah.
Hard to say one is better than the other.
Yeah. Again, going back to Invincible, though, I think you're going to come across some really interesting and fun villains that would be fun too. But yeah, definitely Batman and Spider-Man's rogues gallery is hard to beat.
Yeah, season 2 for Invincible is going to be a while, eh?
Yeah, I can't wait. reading through that series was such a pleasure. I came in late, so I had like all the trade paperbacks, and I was reading them one after the other. And then I think there were 2 or 3 left for for Robert Kirkman to finish the run, and having to wait was brutal.
Yeah, especially when you get spoiled having all of it already done.
So whoever wants to read Invincible now, it's the perfect time. You can just read them all, one after the other. Let's see, 304 votes. Yep, Killer Croc it is probably going to be.
Well, let's just call it.
Okay, so Killer Croc it is.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, thanks for voting, everyone.
All right, Killer Croc. I'm excited. I have to admit, I've actually already kind of put a little bit of reference together for that. So
yeah.
I'm enjoying the painting so much that I'm like thinking about it when we're not doing it. So I was looking at some crocodiles today just on Google.
Yeah. Well, they're greens. Well, we haven't done much painting with greens.
No, we haven't.
But I think if you were to mute it, it would work really well.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be all saturated. Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's like any color.
It's a problem I have. That's a problem with the Two-Face was way saturated. I'm like, I need not do that again. So I can't wait to try some muted greens. Let's see what's here. Blanca from Street Fighter. Yeah, that'll be fun. So many cool characters to paint.
Yeah, well, I thought I was going to run out of characters just for like this live stream. I thought I'd run out in no time. But I was thinking in terms of the kind of characters that I always normally draw. Like I'll go to a convention and I get a list. I've got an agent that does it and they put it all together. And so I show up and I've got my list and it says Batman full figure, Batman on a gargoyle, Batman headshot, and then, 3 or 4 other ones that are a little different. But that's how it always is. And I love drawing Batman. Don't get me wrong. Like I love it. So I can't complain. But the live stream is so different. It's just always something.
Yeah.
Character here, I had to do this one when I saw it. So
awesome.
And I feel like I'm like taking advantage of you guys a little bit because I'm just drawing what I want to draw. I should really I do ask a lot of times and I draw characters that I ask, but this one totally I just wanted to do it.
Tommy Gart says he's going to bed.
Fair enough, Tomic. Thank you for what you stayed with us for 2.5 hours. I cannot complain about that. It's late, and by now, if Meredith was here, I don't think I've ever gone so late with Meredith. You can't. She would have freaked out and gone to bed without me anyway.
Richard M8422 says, David, have you ever played Dead Space? You might like it, and the main character's outfit is really cool. I think you'd actually really like that game, David, if you haven't played it.
What is it?
It's a horror. It's like a space horror, sci-fi horror game.
Huh.
Yeah, I think you'd actually like it.
All right.
Yeah, Sam, and I think the poll's still on, but Dave and I called it. I have to go and switch it off, but consider it Killer Croc. So any votes now will not get counted.
I'm back to Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
That's my game again.
Yeah, I've been playing Elden Ring, but I haven't played in the last 2 weeks. I need to get back to it.
Well, I never played. I didn't give it a shot because it's too hard. Like I know I couldn't play it. I'm just not good at games. I love them. I spend way too much of my life playing them, but I'm not good at them. So I didn't go down that road. But I did try Horizon Forbidden West,
and
I just was not liking it. And let me tell you why. Okay. It's such a well done game. Like, I don't mean it as a criticism, because it's an incredibly well done game, but it really has a lot of strategy elements and stealth elements. You can't just go around and just blast your way through stuff. and I don't like it when games make me think. So I was like, oh, I just want to blast my way through stuff. So I kind of lost interest.
Yeah, I'm the same. Games where I normally go in guns blazing.
And yeah, look, what can I say? I'm not good at games. I've worked all day. I don't want to have to think. So now I'm playing Conan Exiles again, and literally when I play, uh, so it's a survival game for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure is a decent amount of you, and you can build your own house, and so you spend all this time collecting rocks and whatever. So that is literally what I do. I I sit down and I mine rocks for 2 hours mindlessly to show you how just burnt out I am from working, and I just need something that I don't have to think about. Yeah, mining rocks and
I
enjoying
still
it.
think you need to try Lawnmower Simulator.
Yeah, I bet you I would like that. You can't play it on. I don't think they have it on.
No, it's on PC.
And I can't see. My only video game time is when Meredith is making dinner. I do
Yeah.
the dishes, so I do my part, but I don't help cook, which is wise on Meredith's part. And so I play my games then, but I can't just sit in the basement or sit in front of a computer. So I sit on my PlayStation and play video games until dinner's ready.
Yeah.
And she actually has a list of games that. Okay, look, if I really want to play a game, I'll play it, but she has a list of games she really does not want me playing. I can't play racing games because I get so upset.
Oh yeah.
Like by the fifth or sixth time I get beat going around a course.
Or you spin out on the last lap.
Yep. Oh, so I can't do it. I had to stop.
Mike Snitzer, Doom Eternal. I love Doom. Doom 2016 was just fantastic. One of the best games I've ever played. Doom Eternal changed it up. I don't know. I felt like they changed it up a bit too much. Fun game, but yeah, I don't know. The multiplayer, getting rid of deathmatch and team deathmatch. I still don't understand their rationale. Did you ever play Doom Eternal, Dave?
Yep. And it was okay. It's another impossible game.
Yeah.
But I played with a buddy. Actually, what happened is I bought the game because I didn't know it would be impossible for me anyway. And I played part of a level. I couldn't beat it. I quit. And then a friend came and we had nothing to play. He's like, let's try it. And he's pretty good at it. So what we would do is, and this is all during the lockdown thing, we would order lunch and sit and have wings and play the game. And so he would beat something, and whenever he would die, I'd get my turn for like 5 minutes until I died. Then he would take over again. So that's how I played the game. I really didn't. All right.
You like Doom 2016 though, didn't you? The one before Doom Eternal?
No, I didn't play that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kenny has a good suggestion. That would be fun. Dave, you should paint some of the Doom demons. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Great character design there.
Yeah.
Jim Klein, super chat. As long as we're talking about characters to draw, I'd still love to see your take on Sleepwalker. Check out the concept art for the Souls games.
The Souls games?
Yeah, like Demon Souls, all the From Software stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, the stuff, it is beautiful. It's heartbreaking to me a little bit to not be able to play Elden Ring.
Look, so I will say, the game's still tough. You're gonna die a ton. I didn't want to get the game because I didn't like some of the installments from Software. I wanted to break my controller, which is they want you to do that almost.
Yeah, and I would never say change because look, skilled players need games they can enjoy too, right?
Yeah. Well, Elden Ring, because it's open world, I mean you can run around and level up for as long as you want. I know the first boss I got it on the second try just because I just leveled up so much, and I went in there and I was very tanky and I could defeat the boss pretty easy. So but yeah, it's still tough, but a whole lot, in my opinion, a whole lot easier than the other ones. But
Well, I don't know. Truthfully, I don't see trying it.
Yeah.
I'm better with a game where I have a gun than I am with a sword.
Yeah.
Generally, like I can play a higher difficulty game with a gun.
Yeah.
So actually, the Doom game, well, I did all right, but you need to melee, whatever, you need to be able to do everything with that game. It was a hard game. Anyway. All right. We're getting close here.
Cool.
I have a little more hair. Oh, you know what? We're gonna be here all night. Still have some work on. This is ridiculous. How did this one go so out of control?
Supersonico says Mario 64 is greater than Elden Ring. Yeah, there'll be a large contingent of the population that would agree.
Yeah, I played that back in the day. I mean, that's one of the greatest games of all time.
Zayu says Red Dead Redemption 2 is fun. Dave has played through that twice. Is that right, Dave?
Oh yeah. Now I played online a little bit. It just wasn't developed, and then I kind of never went back to it. Generally speaking, I don't like a game where I sign on, first person I see shoots me. You know, and then I sign on, the first person, and I'm not generally going to be able to shoot him back because I'm just not good enough at the game. Not fun. Grand Theft Auto is the same thing. Like all the cool stuff in the game is online. The only experience I get out of the game is load times and getting shot. And Grand Theft Auto just came out with I don't know if you saw this. It came out with expanded and enhanced.
Oh yeah, you gonna do that?
Well, no, because I was waiting for the expanded part of that, and I'm not really. I don't know. Maybe I missed something, but everything I saw, it's the same game with like some textures. It doesn't seem like they actually expanded it.
Mm.
I mean, if that's wrong and people find it, then I'll do it. I'll buy it because it's not that expensive. But yeah, I also got burned by the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. I bought that one. It's not the best.
Is that the one with like the 2D top down? Did that
No, no,
include?
no. This is Grand Theft Auto 3,
Oh, okay.
Vice City, and San Andreas. I played all the way through San Andreas again
Oh,
because I
okay.
played it, years ago. But the other ones were
I remember playing GTA when it was top down 2D. I'm pretty sure.
wow.
If anyone
Old
can
school.
remember that,
Oh, I remember that.
yeah.
There won't be many of them.
Monster Hunter. Someone said you should try Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I haven't tried it.
I think that's pretty involved as well.
My favorite are zombie games.
Is
You know
what
why I like
zombie?
zombie
Yeah.
games? Because zombies are stupid and they shamble around. Like they're generally a little easier. That's what I like. Everybody, you read reviews or you watch reviews now, on YouTube, and people complain about bad AI, and bad AI in a game for me is like a bonus. That's what I look for.
Well, you were just playing. What was the last zombie game you were playing? What's it called? Not
Dying
Fear,
Light 2,
Dying Light 2. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good game. It didn't have the replayability. Neither did the first one, though. Still to this day, the best zombie game of all time, Days Gone.
Oh, you know, Arturo Sanchez said play Gears of War, but it looked like a bot because normally the way. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna apologize to him here publicly for deleting your comment. It looked like a
Oh,
bot. Yeah, Gears of War. I never got to play that. Looked just like a bot link. That's funny.
okay. We're gonna have to wrap this gun up just a little bit because nobody wants to be here till after 11. Hold on, I can't just let it go though.
Folks want you to draw a background now and color it. Yeah, you just
Every-
said Peter stream, right? You should go ahead and digitally color it. Yeah.
Everybody wants to go to bed. I want to go to bed.
I missed a super chat about Black Tiger, Spider-Man villain. Please do the spot. Love that guy. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think some folks are saying it's a little bit too zoomed in, Dave.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm jumping all over and I'm all zoomed in. Here, let me zoom out. Because we're almost finished too. So I'll zoom out so you can see the whole thing. See the corner of my desk. This is what my actual desk looked like. That's a paper. This is an old desk. I've had this thing for 30 years.
Yeah, Zayu says airbrush it.
I couldn't paint this one. It wouldn't really go well.
Yeah, it'll be
Because
a tough
these
one.
are... What's that?
It'll be a bit of a tricky one, yeah.
Well, it would be hard. But aside from that, my brush and this are not waterproof.
Mm. Jim Klein says he seconds the earlier suggestion of checking out Dead Space. So I never played it. What is the difficulty like, Jim? Because I don't think it's like a... I know there's multiple installments of it, at least to two.
So we got 2 recommendations for that game.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give it a try.
I'm thinking they were both PS4, if I'm not mistaken. First one may have been PS3, maybe, or... Hold on. I don't want to... Let me look it up. I don't know if it's multi-platform.
Well, don't worry.
Probably is.
We're not a video game stream, so if we're not accurate, can't hold us to it.
Dead Space.
All right, here we go. Almost done.
I'm sure the chat will correct me.
Yeah.
Dead Space is not too difficult, not too many puzzles. Wait, it's just Dead Space is a horror game. Don't play it alone at night. That means David will love it.
Yeah, I like that kind of game. Actually, I really do. That's it. We're done. We finished.
Awesome. Came out great.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Meredith never says that, Meredith's just like, all right, I'm going to bed. All right. Well, that's it. Where's my mouse?
One last super chat. What's up, David? Will there also be an art book of all your Saturday night painting streams?
You know what? Actually, Monday Night Draw, the first one, has a bunch of them. It's got a bunch of mine, and it has a bunch of Eric's actually too. We put some of Eric's paintings in there. Season 2 will be the same, so we'll certainly get some paintings in those too. So yeah, anything gets done on the stream is in the book. It expanded, truthfully. It's a longer book than it was originally going to be because we had a stretch goal. So there are a few things in there that aren't from the stream too, but 99% of it is all stream stuff, and the next year will be the same. Oh, all right. Nighthawk Warrior Comics says, good night, Dave Finch. Have a nice Spawn. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. The amount of you guys that are still here, I appreciate it a lot. It's a long stream. I really didn't expect it to go so long. I had an idea when I saw the costume, but this was a lot of fun, and I didn't want to cheat it. I really wanted to be able to actually do this right. And, I don't know how many more opportunities I'll have to do this without Meredith. Look, I love having Meredith, but there's always a deadline. So yeah, everyone, please have a great week, and we will see you next Monday, same time no stream next Monday. So we'll see you in 2 weeks for Man-Thing versus Swamp Thing, and the next tutorial will be out just really in a couple of days. It's finished, and it's gonna get the final edit just over the next couple of days, and it'll be posted. I'm looking forward to that one, and hopefully you guys like that. So Eric, you want to say good night?
Great. Yeah. Good night, everyone. It was a fun one. And yeah, looking forward to having Meredith back on the next stream. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. Good night, everyone.
All right.
Thanks
Night.
a lot. Have a great week.